Hello everyone and welcome back to Adobe Live. Happy Thursday. Are we Thursday, Liz?
Yes, we are. I don't know, to be honest.
It's felt like a long week, but super happy to be here. We're going to be live for the next 6 hours and even longer than that with some additional streams in the US. So do say hi if you're joining us now. We're live on behance.net/live and also on YouTube. So we'll be here for quite a few hours, and we have tons of great content across Adobe Express and photography today, so there's tons happening. But our first guest is Liz Mosley. Hey, welcome back.
Thanks. It's been a while. I'm excited to be here.
It's been ages. I mean, you've been on Adobe Live since, and you've done tons of things like a mini series, like we'll hear more about it today. I'm jumping ahead. But I haven't actually seen you in ages, so I'm super happy to.
It's so nice to be sitting next to each other in real life.
On stream. Yeah, we're live from Munich for those who don't know. And then our next streams are going to be live from San Francisco. So really enjoying being back in person and like having people fly in and spend time for the day.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? Are you doing photography all of a sudden, Liz? Because I was like, we were talking before the stream and I was like, is that really your topic?
Yeah. No, I have not converted to be a photographer. Not yet. I like to dabble. No, we're going to be in Adobe Express, which is obviously my go-to.
Yeah.
Talking about branding, which again, my favorite topic. So yeah, as you mentioned, I've just done a mini series on Adobe Live. Called, there's like a series that they're doing called Adobe Live University, and I did a series of 8 episodes. The last one is out on Friday, all about branding, and so I'm going to be using the brand that I made in that today in
I love when Liz creates a good brand. It's just, we were talking about it this morning, and I had like a little sneak peek, but wanted to keep it a surprise as well for the stream. But yeah, let us know in the chat what kind of brand Liz should also create, because I'd love to like see you.
People
like
should set me challenges. I know. I would love to do that, like to make one on a live. I mean, that's a whole other stream.
Okay,
but
that's definitely a challenge. We'll give you a bit of prep.
Yeah.
But, since we're talking about the chat, we have Sean joining us and Oliver. So hi. Do say hi if you're around, and then suggest brands, like ideas.
Yeah, give me briefs. I love it. Yeah.
Hungry for it. So yeah, what are we going to cover? So you said Adobe Express. What else are we going to cover today? We're going
to start in Adobe Illustrator, head into Express. We're also going to briefly open Indesign, which is my like true love.
It sounds like it's like a guilty pleasure of yours.
Everyone's always quite surprised, but Indesign was like my first love in terms of Adobe products. So I always love coming back to it.
That's the case for a lot of people. We keep on being asked about Indesign all the time, so which we do cover once in a while, but more as like part of a workflow. But
yeah, it's just part of a workflow today, so we won't be in it for very long. But so basically we're going to be exploring lots of different things. There's a lot of new features in Adobe Express, so I'm looking forward to exploring some of those, checking out some of the add-ons. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
And Tim's just kindly linked in the chat your episodes. Just go and see that. Maybe after the stream.
Yeah, so after the stream. Stay with us. Yeah.
And let's dive right in. Let's open where you are. So you said we're starting with Illustrator.
Yeah, so we're in Illustrator, and this is the brand that I've created. It's called Whisk, and it's like a gourmet matcha cafe, which is very pertinent because me and you went and got a matcha latte this morning.
I was like, I first thought you really wanted the matcha latte, and then we ordered one, and I thought, oh, is it just because of the
no, I do. It is like one of my favorite drinks, which is why I did this brand. So here I've got the color palette, the logos. There's like a sub logo. There's sort of font choices. I created some icons. There's some patterns, which if you follow me online, you'll know is like my favorite bit of creating branding. Things like a little loyalty card. So I've got some like use cases as well. So this is the brand that I created in the series that Tim linked in the chat. And so what I'm going to start off by doing is creating a library for it, because we're going to take this brand over to Adobe Express. And this tends to be my workflow when I'm working with clients. I will obviously create their branding in Adobe Illustrator, and then I'll make a library and turn that into a brand kit for them so that then they can access it in Adobe Express. So I'm going to call this Whisk Live and click create. So over on this panel in the right hand side, and then just start adding everything in. I probably won't add every version of the logo because otherwise we'll be here for like the whole hour of just me doing that. But I'm just clicking on the plus button down in the bottom right hand corner to add in the colors. And one thing that I do find really helpful is that you've probably heard loads of designers chatting about whether they name their layers, and there's like lots of debate about it. Yeah. But when it comes to creating a library, I'm definitely all for creating folders and naming them, just because that's going to help you when you take it over into Adobe Express. Nice. So let me just add a couple.
Getting organized from the start.
Yeah, it's not something that comes naturally to me. But in this instance, it is worth doing. So let me just get a few of these logos. And yeah, if anyone's got any questions as we go.
Hannah's joining in the chat on YouTube. She's tuning in from Birmingham. I know we have an event in Birmingham today. So
Hi, Hannah.
yeah, if you're actually from the community and live in Europe, we do tons of events for now in the UK and Germany. But yeah, you can join us in person as well. If you've been very inspired by Adobe Live, you can meet Liz. You've been at events
there's one
recently?
next week in London I'm going to be at.
Amazing.
I
should know that. But yeah, if you're in London, come and meet Liz.
Next Wednesday, yeah.
I'll try and share the event registration page on the chat as well. But we'd love to meet you in person. It's always such a nice moment. But yeah, that's my plug.
Right.
Thanks, Hannah, for joining. And Sam Pretty as well. Good afternoon. Seems like we're covering all time zones in Adobe Live.
Okay, so we've got our logos in here. They're in little folders. For some reason, it's not letting me edit the folder. So I'm just going to create a new folder in the bottom. And I'm going to call this fonts. I'm just going to save like my character styles, basically. So I've got my header. I'm going to just save this in there. So you can see it's like really quick to bring it all together. I've got my body copy. Save that in. It doesn't always go into the folder, so you just have to drag them up. But it's pretty easy. Oh, now it's not saved my groups. Let me just put some more groups in. Put my colors in. So yeah, I have so many of these libraries, and what's nice is that I can have them, like I can have one of these for all my clients, and it just means I don't have to go around looking for all of the stuff that I've designed for them, which is really handy. So let me just add, it's just a few more to add in. I'd love to know if people are also matcha fans, because I think it's quite like a niche taste drink.
I think it's trending.
It is trendy. It's becoming more popular. Yeah. And really unusual flavours as well.
What do you mean?
Like you can get like mango matcha. I think you can get all sorts of sort of like interesting flavours. I'm not that.
How do they make that?
I have no idea.
We're gonna rabbit hole into.
I know, yeah. Into a whole.
But yeah, I know some people don't feel particularly passionate about matcha and find it more like, grass tasting. Yeah. But it's definitely more of an earthy, acquired taste.
I like it with a bit of sweetener in it. Like something sweet in it, which is.
And we have Nina who's joining us in the chat as well. Super nice to see you. Thanks for joining.
Oh, okay. So I put some icons in. Let me just put in a couple of patterns. This is going to be quite a big library. You can also just drag them over. So if I just drag it over, there's always multiple ways to do things, which is good. Okay, perfect. So I've got my library. So let's head over to Adobe Express. And if I go over to your stuff, at the top, you'll see we've got projects, libraries, and favorites. And we're going to come back and have a look at projects in a bit. But if we go into libraries, fingers crossed, it's going to appear. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so we've got Whisk Live here, and there's these 3 dots in the top right-hand corner, which is always good to look out for. And you can click on those, and then you can click Use as Brand. And it's going to turn it into a brand for us. And so now if we go to brands, there we have it. And if we double click on it, we've got it here. Some of it is in the right place, some of it isn't. So sometimes you have to go through and add things in, but I'll still be able to access everything. So here it's like put a lot of things in assets, and it's put some of my fonts in other. But if you want to add things from within Adobe Express, it's really easy to do. So you can just go to fonts, and we can just go and add fonts. So let's search, this is my brand font. So I'm just gonna go Mora Extra Bold, and you can just like click down, search all of the Adobe fonts.
Nina's already saying, Liz, your branding files always look so neat. So you're impressing,
thanks.
like being a good student. Just for us.
I feel like it's, at the end, they look neat. This is the end. In the process, less so.
We don't need to know that.
Yeah. Let's just all live with that illusion. I'm a very neat person.
Nikki is also joining.
Oh, hey, Nikki.
Inspired to have a matcha now. I love that.
Yes.
We're
the pear flavour one.
how do they make these?
Does that even work? I need to go on a matcha hunt. Okay, so we've got our brand kit. I'm going to leave it like that for now, but we've got everything that we need. And so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go back to your stuff and I'm going to create a project, because project is something that I have started using more. So if I create a new project and I call it Whisk, and this just means that I can keep everything in this one project. So multiple brand kits, multiple libraries. And so if I want to then share that with a team, I can just add them here. I can decide whether they can edit it or that they can just comment on it. So let me just add myself, and then we've got multiple people on it. And we'll create this project. And so now we're going to add to the project and we're going to find our Whisk Live brand, and that's going to go in there, and we'll click add, and then we can keep adding to it as we go. So I think what is nice about this is it means, say we were working together on a project and there was lots of different things going on all over the place. I wouldn't have to add you. Yeah, that does sounds like a very realistic use case. I wouldn't have to add you to everything. I could just add you to this one project, which would be so much easier. Because I have definitely had that where it's I've had to add people to 3 brands and some libraries, and then they're just getting loads of emails. So, and it's the same all the way through Adobe Express. You just find the share button, you just type in the email address of the person that you want to add, or you can also share with a link. So there's always a few different ways to do it. Okay, so we've got our brands and libraries, and we can share that. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but one of the features that when they were changing this over with Adobe Express, it kind of disappeared for a while, but it's back, is the apply brand button, which I always really liked, and then it disappeared and now it's back again. So I'm very excited about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for a template that we can use for our cafe. So let's have a look. I had searching through templates is one of my guilty pleasures. There's some really cute ones and cute illustrations. I tell you what, let me go to, because I'm actually searching through everything. So let me go to home and let's actually filter down the templates here. So they've recently changed the home page where the templates have got sort of more of a prominent feature. So let's have a look and see if I actually use this one in my video. And I think
that one. I was just about to say.
It is really cute. And it works well because I designed a similar pattern in the background. So what we can do is take this template, and then if I go to brands and I make sure that my Whisk brand is there, I can click the button at the top here and just click apply brand, and it's going to change it into the colors. Now it might not do it the way that you want it to, so you can basically just toggle through and you can just
that's awesome.
Keep scrolling until you find something, find the color sort of choices that you're happy with. So let's go with that one. I like that.
And we have Louise in the chat. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Who says they love to search the templates too.
Oh, nice. Lois is one of my besties from back home.
Oh, nice.
So there's also a little button here where you can actually sort of set some of the parameters. So if you've got graphics included, do you want it to recolor them or not? You can apply the fonts. So you can actually, specify just changing some things, which is quite helpful. But I'm happy with how this is looking. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly delete a whole bunch of these. Actually, no, I'm going to leave them there to save us time. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my pattern and put it in the background, which it matches the style of this design. And then really quickly with that apply brand button, it's put in my fonts. We've made a menu. I'm going to get rid of these because they don't fit my brand, but I've got my icons that I can just bring in. So I just need to click on them and they just appear, which is always handy. So I'm just going to put those in the design.
We have a couple questions. Firstly, just a general overall broad question from David, who's asking if you can watch these back again. And yes, everything today is available on replay, so you can kind of enjoy it in your own time afterwards. Or if you have to drop off you'll be able to access this on behance.net/live, but also on YouTube. So yeah, everything's on replay. And then we have another question, Liz, from Dave, who's asking if you can lock certain areas of the project so that folks who then access it, can't change it.
Yes, you can, which is such a good feature. So
basically some red tape.
yeah, which is really important when like you're working with a brand, because like there's certain things, like for example, if I add the logo, let's do this. If I add the logo into this design, it might be that for my designs, I want the logo to always appear in the same place. So let's put it up here, and we'll bring these elements down. It might be that I want to share this design and I want my team to be able to edit it, but I don't want them to be able to move the logo because that always needs to go in the same place. And so what I can do is if I just click on, always look out for the 3 little buttons is my top tip for Adobe Express, the 3 little dots, sorry. So if I click on the 3 little dots, I've got 2 options. I can either just lock it down and they can't change it at all, or I can lock it so it can't change location, but it can change the image. So in this instance, I might lock it but allow image replace so that they can change the color of the logo depending what the design is. Yeah. So that way, that is now locked. You'll see it's got a gray box around it, but it has got, you can't, let me zoom in and then you might be able to see it. It's got this little button.
Which gets smaller.
Which gets smaller. I know, I was just thinking that. I was like, it's getting smaller. So you won't be able to see it. But there's a little button here and it's got a padlock, but it's got the 2 arrows, which signifies that it can be replaced. And here's the replace button up here. So when someone opens this template and they want to replace it, they can click replace image, and then they can either get that from the brand, which I would have shared with them in the project, or they can get it from other places, but hopefully they would get it from the brand so that the logo stays consistent. If I locked it without being able to change it, like this replace image wouldn't come up. There's nothing they could do with it. Another cool thing that you can do is you can do it with text as well. So they can replace the text, but they can't, it limits like how much text there is. Okay. So if I did it with this, for example, lock but allow text replace, and then I try to add an extra line, you'll see, again, I'll try and zoom in, but we'll see this red, you can't really see it, this red dashed line that comes in at the bottom, and it's basically telling them they can't add any more text in than this. So if I shared this as a template, I would want them to be able to replace that text because obviously they need to update the menu or the week special. So yeah, that is like is a new feature. Well, not that new, but it's very helpful and very good for like brand consistency. That was actually next on my list to share. Oh, no, so that was like perfect. And then if for example I created this as a template, I could either just share this one template with someone. So again, go to share. I can either copy the link or I can add their email address. Or what I could do is I could make this into a template.
And Kieran loves your color palette and choice. Thanks. We have loads of folks still joining in. So Angus, Kieran.
Oh, hi Angus. So it's already got my brand kit there. So I could either save it to my brand, or if we scroll, okay. So I can either save it to my brand, or I can save it to a library is what I'm trying to say. And then that library would be stored in the project. So I'm going to save it to my brand so that it's all there in our project. Another option is that you can, and I've been doing this a bit recently, you can create a public template link. So if there was a scenario, so for my YouTube series that I was talking about, I did some downloadable assets that went with that and they went in the caption. So I made a public link so people didn't have to have access to my brand. They could just get it. So there's like use cases for that as well. So then I'm just going to click Save Template. And then if we go back to the brand or to our project even, then that will be in there. So let me find Whisk. So in there, you'll see that now in this section here on the left, our templates are appearing. Okay, so what I want to do now is share a really cool new feature. I got the idea for this use case from Teresa Ferreira. I think I'm saying her name right.
Yeah.
Do you know who? Do you know
Of
her?
course.
Yeah, so
she's also going to be at RSMB Arcade, if I remember well.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think she's in Birmingham today.
Yeah.
Anyway, she did a reel, and it's about the bulk create feature, which is like is fairly new. I think they announced it at Max, and it's very cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by making a design, and my sort of use case is I want to do. So this is a real example of making content so quickly. I want to do a weekly fact on social media about matcha, okay? So I basically compiled an Excel document, or you could do it in Google Sheets or whatever you use for that sort of thing, of my facts. And I've saved it as a CSV file, so that's important. So let me design what the thing's going to look like, and then I'll show you how to do it, because it is very cool. So I'm going to bring in the pattern again. So I'm basically going to create a design, a template effectively, that's going to be the same every week. And it's going to have my fact in there. So I'm obsessed with this pattern, so I'm just going to use it in everything, basically. My love of patterns is my beige flag. Okay, so let me add some text. So I'm going to call it Monday Matcha Fact. And then if I go to fonts, I've got all my brand fonts there, so I can put it in. I'm going to get a shape behind it, which is just down on the left. And if I click on these little, I don't know what you call those, sliders, then I can change the colors to my brand colors, which are there ready for me. So I'm just going to put those in. I'm going to bring this down here. I do really love designing when the sort of brand is all in place, because it just makes it so much easier. Okay, let me just get one of the logos. I'm going to get this cream one, put it up here. And then in this sort of space in the middle, this is where the fact is going to go. So I'm just going to add a text box. And I'm going to put, this is where my fact about matcha will go. And just style it up how I want it. So I'm just going to put the other font in. And I'm just going to get it centered. I've tried to keep my sort of facts all the same kind of length. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is head up to bulk create, which is right up in the top menu. Click on that, and it's going to ask me to drag or drop or browse a CSV file. So I'm just going to get my CSV file, which is here, called Matcha Facts. Click open. Then, oh, you can't see it, but just behind me, there's a next button. So I'll just click on the next button. And what I need to do then is set up elements. So it says select and map elements to columns. So I click on the element that I want to match. So I want everything else to stay the same, but on every design, the text here is going to change. I'm going to click collect element, and then I'm just going to click on element 1 and choose matcha facts. So when you set up your CSV file, just make sure that you've got a header for that column, and you just need to have one column. Then I'm going to click next. And now, look, it's made, so these are all my facts on the left-hand side. It's made me 20 designs all in one go. That's so awesome. I click create pages. So in 5 minutes, I've made 20 posts for Instagram, and I can then just go in and schedule these for each Monday. So I've got my template. I could probably do with making the text a little bit bigger. But if we go into one of them, like you can see, obviously that's the base one, but here we go. So matcha is a powdered form of green tea. So it gives me the matcha fact. I haven't verified these facts, I just want to say. So if anyone's like a matcha expert, don't hold me to what it says. So now, say I wanted to start scheduling these, I could literally have the next, I mean, you could do this for like a whole year. You could do 52 of them and have them scheduled for a week for the whole year. So I'm just going to click on share, and I'm going to go share to social. And because I'm on this page, it's just going to schedule this one asset. So I'd have to go through and schedule each of them. But because you can just click a button, it'd be really easy to do. I'm going to click the channels that I want to share it on. And then I'm going to write my description. So it's a post. So I'm going to write. So I'm actually going to get AI to help me with this because caption writing isn't super easy. And there's now, I mean, there's AI tools built in everywhere. So there's now a text tool in the editor as well. But there's one in Scheduler. So let's put introduce a series for social media that includes weekly match facts.
I found one option.
Sorry, my Siri's just
We've triggered.
Okay, click generate and then go generate. So you can either generate new caption, you can rewrite it, shorten or lengthen. So I'm going to go rewrite it and let's see what it comes up with.
Nikki's been saying, oh my God, can you even imagine having a year's worth of content lined up?
I
The
know.
dream.
What a dream. But if you can think of like a use case where you do it in a series, then it would work really well. I think for like quotes and things like that, it does work. Okay, here we go. So it's given me introducing a tantalizing social media series featuring weekly matcha facts. Stay in the know about all things matcha from its origins to its health benefits. Sometimes it really like blows me away the stuff it comes out with. And then you can either try again or you can click insert and put that there. And then I'm going to save it as a draft because I live in constant fear of accidentally scheduling these things to my account. And I'm going to add it to my account. And so now if I click view in calendar, it's going to appear. I don't know if you've looked at this scheduler recently, but I am like obsessed with, so there's now prompts in there. So you'll see all of these little purple posts and there's like 3 a week and it basically gives you prompts for what to post for your small business. So this one's like share the top 5 tips that can help your target audience achieve their goals. So I don't know if anyone's using these, but I absolutely love them. So I'm going to start using them to like schedule my content. And then you've got obviously all the, like the usual like reminders for different holidays. So it's got Black Friday in here. It's got a bit of information about it. So Adobe Express is really trying to make it as easy as possible for you to make content. And I've obviously accidentally scheduled this to a Thursday and it's meant to be on a Monday because it's a fact about matcha, but all I need to do is just drag my draft post over to there. Now, the way that I would do this if I was planning to schedule all of them is I would then go back to the file, get the next design, and then I would schedule that for the next Monday, just to make my life easier. But another way that you could do it is you can click on this post, go down to more options, and then click duplicate post. And add that as a draft. And one of the tips that I always share, because it's like my absolute favorite, is like reusing content. People don't do it enough. So probably you wouldn't do it for this, but if you've created a really good post, schedule it and then draft schedule it for 6 months time, and then it'll just be sitting there and you can post it again because in 6 months you'll have loads of new followers.
Find it again.
If it's a good post, people will enjoy it again. So that way you're getting as much as possible out of your content. And I actually, like, I'm not just saying this actually worked for me the other day. So basically I didn't have anything to post, things were really busy. I went in there and I found a carousel post. And it was just there saved for me. And I was like, thank you, Liz, of 6 months ago for
no one will notice.
Yeah, exactly.
Smooth.
And actually I've seen like some of the really big accounts, like I was looking at like Christo's account the other day, for example, and he's totally doing that. Like he creates really good content, but he's like reusing it because people need to be reminded.
Game.
Yeah, exactly. Like work smarter, not harder.
And questions are coming through, Liz, and some of them are not questions or just comments. But Nina's very excited about the prompts. And David's also saying that Express has really gotten powerful the last year or so. So very impressed by that, which totally agree. And then we have a question from Dave, for example. If you have 2 or 3 Instagram accounts, how do you connect to the ones you want to use? So are you able?
That is a really good question. So I
also don't know.
Well, I don't have multiple Instagram accounts connected, but basically you can just add, they're all added here and you toggle between them. So like it's pretty simple. Like it's just when the drop down. So like if I wanted to add another Instagram account, I would go where would I go actually? I would go onto Instagram and I'd click on add new, and then I would just connect another Instagram account here. There's no way I'm going to remember my login information to do it now. Otherwise I would do it with my other account. But yeah, you would just connect it here. And then when you were scheduling the post from the drop down, they would both appear there, and you just make sure you check them. So if there was a scenario where you wanted to post to 2 different Instagram accounts, so like a scenario for me would be if I wanted to post to my personal account and my podcast account, then I could do that. Yeah. So, and you can also like now, so yeah, you can, so I can have multiple accounts, but I can also share my scheduler with someone else, which you weren't able to do before. Yeah. So if I wanted to get my friend Lois, who's in the chat, to schedule things for me, which she totally would do, then I can just get, she's not having to go in with my login, which is helpful. Awesome. It keeps everything neat and tidy.
And a bit safer as well, in terms of like sharing things.
Yeah.
And I've been scrolling up to get that question back again, just in general kind of projects you were talking about earlier. Tammy's been asking, you know, when you were locking an element, what keeps another user from changing that lock?
They can't. So like, because you've created it,
you're the owner of the lock.
You're the owner of the lock.
Yeah.
Like it's like connected to your account, that lock. So you're the only one that can unlock it. So they can change it with the parameters that you've set.
Yeah. And Sandrine's also joining the chat and confirming that she's actually using Express with 3 accounts connected.
Amazing.
And they're all within a unique Meta business account. So that's the tip from
get all the accounts.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you might as well. Yeah.
And we did have a noise in the background. Dave's worried about Tim, but I think he's fine.
Yeah.
He's alive.
Okay. Perfect.
Awesome. That's it on questions. But
okay,
we
great.
can keep going.
So there's a few other things that have been like added that are new. So let's go back. If I go back to my project that I created, I'm going to get one of my match effects. And so like when you are adding content to social media, like movement often really helps in terms of like engagement. Like this design is nice, but I feel like, you know, people could easily scroll by. So I'm trying to think of ways that I could grab their attention. And obviously animation has been an option for a long time in Adobe Express, but you can now animate all. So if I select everything and go to animation, at the top you'll see animate all. And if I click on that, then I can pick a few different options. What I like about this is I think there's a temptation, you know, when you get like a feature to use like everything, you know, like have it almost like a different animation style for every asset. And I would always say that's a bit of a no-no. It's like the old days, you know, where people used to have a different slide transition on every PowerPoint slide. I
think those will make a comeback.
I would say avoid doing that. But what I like about this is that the animate all doesn't do that. So you can like pick one of the styles, but it brings it in staggered. So it actually looks really nice. And then if we go down to the bottom and we click edit timeline, and then you should be able to see this. Down at the very bottom, it says show layer timing. And if I click on that, you can actually see the dots of where everything's coming in. Let me zoom in and then you'll be able to see them. So there's the dots of where everything's coming in. So it's staggered it in like a really natural way. So it just like really works. So you can pick that button and animate all. And again, very, very quickly, I've got, you know, like an even more dynamic post. I could go through, you know, I could go through and do that for all 20 of the pages. And again, like just click share and I can schedule that and it's going to share it as a video. I can also add audio. So one of the things, so there's been like music in there for a while.
I'm wondering what audio you're going to layer into that, like you reading.
Well, what I was going to do, I tried this the other day and it was quite cute, is there's actually sound effects now. So I'm going to put a cafe background sound effect. Okay. So like the idea that it's like
I was like the whisk.
I'm just going to go. So if we go cafe background, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, maybe not. But anyway, there's like background, you know, just like people chatting. So I can,
Sandrine's going for the rubber chicken noise, so we have suggestions on sound effects.
I mean, yeah, there's all sorts in there. I would definitely recommend exploring it. You can, and there's also like different add-ons that you can add. So I know there's like a TikTok one. So if you're specifically looking for like TikTok music, like it gives you tips on what's trending. I am like you're addicted to TikTok now, aren't you? I'm so out.
We were just talking about. I've been avoiding TikTok for years, and a month ago, finally, you put like a foot in the door, and then you're just like spiraling. TikTok has become my life, but we're putting boundaries.
Let's not talk about that.
Is this real life? Is this TikTok?
Anyway, so there is a really good add-on, which actually, that leads me in nicely. Let's go and explore some of the add-ons, because I've been having a play around with them, and honestly, some of them are absolutely
Dave's
amazing.
asking if we have a sound of Tim doing a backflip, which was earlier.
Do you know what I have? That sounded like Tim had like passed out. I have actually got, Tim gave me this. So
wait, I did not expect that.
So basically, when I used to stream weekly for Adobe Express, doing Adobe Express streams, every time I went on the call with Tim, he would do a train sound. And so he's given me this whistle. So now I can go, because it was like, like the Express train. I'm on the Adobe Express train.
Wow.
So yeah,
we really know how to treat our guests.
I know. I've got in studio sound effects. So
Adobe engraved. Yeah. Actually, it's not, but we missed it.
That's what the next merch needs to be. Anyway, getting
I did
carried
not
away.
expect you to do that.
In-person sound effects. I've got distracted now. Okay, add-ons. So if you head back to the homepage, I mean, you can access them from all over the place, but you have add-ons, and honestly, they keep adding more and more to them, and I don't think people realize like how much you can customize your Adobe Express experience, or how much you can like actually like bolt onto it. So there's like a whole bunch of storage ones. So like if you are using, Google Drive, you can connect your Google Drive account. So there's all sorts. There's a lot to do with like GIFs and extra assets that you can add in beyond what Adobe Express already does. So there's like some of these are created by Adobe. I think some of them are like external companies that they've partnered with. So it just gives you so many more options. So I thought I would share with you some of my favorites. So if I'm just going to start a new document. I had a lot of fun playing around with these. So let me just get an Instagram square post. So like,
yeah, Roger's super excited. Express looks so cool. Haven't got into it at all yet. So hope that gives you a good taste of what you can be doing.
Yeah,
and then Tammy's also sharing. Thank you for the answer to the lock kind of trick.
That is a good one.
And is excited to play with it.
Yeah, it is amazing. So I've got a blank document here. So my story for this is that another type of content I might want to make for my whisk brand is like meme kind of content. And I think sometimes people don't really know how they should do that. So there's an add-on called Gifinity, which I love the name. So if I click on that, it's going to open up a window. And this is powered by Giphy, who, if you don't know, they supply like the GIFs that you would use on Instagram. So these are not the GIF stickers, which are the ones that have the invisible backgrounds, but these are the GIFs. So I can go in and I can search for these. I've actually made a load of GIFs on Giphy, and so I searched my name and there was one randomly on there which made me laugh, which is me writing a to-do list. So this is my GIF that you can use.
Wait, it is actually you?
Yeah, that's my hand. It's me writing news. I mean, I can't remember why I made this, but I found it on there the other day. The lighting's terrible. This just shows I'm not on the photography.
Is it doing well? Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, is it doing? I've had like 3 billion.
Are you sure?
My GIFs have had 3 billion downloads.
Wow.
I think over that now. So I'm quite. I don't think it was this
quite
specific.
exactly.
It wasn't this specific GIF, but my GIF stickers. But
Record
anyway,
breaking.
so what I can do is I can like search for a GIF that I think would work. So I'm going to type in coffee and see what comes up. Or even it would make more sense to type in matcha and see what. Oh, look. So then I've got these like pretty decent. Yeah, like how cute is this? Like this.
Yeah.
Like if I was gonna announce that I was like, I don't know, going into ice cream as well, like I could bring that into my design. I mean, this isn't really a meme, but I can actually like start using this. And again, it just like makes a slightly
More dynamic.
Yeah, more dynamic. So then I can just like add, I've got all of my brand loaded, so I can add some colors in. Like say I want to make it the cream, like this actually looks really cute. I can put some text in and then make sure that it all looks on brand. So say I added some text and, I could put, we're expanding into ice cream. Let me, I can never type on it. See, I've spelled it wrong already. Expanding into ice cream. So say, my cafe was announcing that, I could use one of these GIFs. But yeah, there's like loads of different options. There's like a boba option. Have you got into boba?
I haven't. Now we're really venturing into
I know, like
fancy
exotic
foods. But there's also a boba trend. Like that was a phase. I don't know if it's still
I'm
around.
sure at Adobe Max they did like one of the demos was all boba themed. I think Katrina, who's an evangelist, is really into boba.
Lucy Street, talking evangelist, we have Lucy Street in the chat. So Lucy entered the chat and is calling you the queen of gifts, Liz, which I think is an honour to receive.
I love that. She's put
Thursday.
hashtag bring back export to GIF, which I'm on a campaign for as well. So that is, everyone go and vote on that feature in the, if you don't know, there's like a page. I think it's this one up here. One of the buttons up here, submit feedback. You can go in and like put in feature requests and stuff like that. And then there's a website where you can upvote feature requests. And I'm there like upvoting export to GIF, because then like you could make these in Adobe Express. But anyway, for now, the Giphy add-on is like doing wonders. So you'll see like there's lots of them, and you could like, turn these into memes, like very engaging content. Really would recommend, let's see if I can find it, is for, I think something that isn't considered enough is like accessibility in design.
Totally.
And so there's one that is a color blindness simulator. And so I think you can actually do this within Adobe tools. I think InDesign has it built in, or Illustrator, but basically there's a tool that like shows you. You can also go to adobe.color, I think, and then on there's like accessibility tools, but this is like an add-on that's built in, and basically this isn't, let me get a better example. Let me change the background color so that it gives us a sort of better, I'm gonna like make this a bright red, and we'll sort of like see kind of how, so obviously that is not a design I would ever recommend. But if I click reload preview, so this is just it normal, but you can basically select all these different sort of types of color blindness that people might have. And you can click on them, and it's basically going to like show you what it's looking like for them. So this is like complete red and green color blindness. Like they're not going to see the colors that you've selected at all. So yeah, it's quite helpful just to have that as a preview, and just to like check your designs through it. So I think tools like that are really helpful. Another one that I discovered the other day, which I think is really cool, is one called Attention Insight. And so basically this like tests what's going to like attract people's attention in a design. So it's like heat mapped. So it's almost
psychology.
Like, I always find really interesting. I think this is particularly interesting in like web design, and I know there's like tools specific for that. Like how do our eyes track through a design? And obviously as designers, we use like hierarchy and we use color to like draw people in. So what you can do is it asks you what you're testing. So I'm just going to click, let's say a banner, it's like a banner, and then you click test design, and then it basically brings up this heat map where it tells you like where the most attention in your design is going to go. So it's showing me that the main bit of attention is going to go to the text at the bottom and then to the image. And so you can kind of like use that.
Pretty accurate. Like
that's what you'd expect. Awesome. Yeah. So I think that's like a really helpful one.
And Tim's been helping out in the chat. The website is color.adobe.com.
I did it the wrong way around,
So that's where you can go.
That website is incredible. So if you need help with like, we can have a quick look at it. If you need help with like picking color palettes, if you need help with like accessibility, anything like that, there's like loads of things on here. There's like color themes, so like you can go through and like color isn't always the easiest thing. So you can get ideas of color palettes to use, like find trending ones. If we go over here, this is where you'll find the accessibility tools that I talked about. So what I could do is I could load in the Whisk color palette that I created. I can click on the accessibility tools. I can put in the hex codes and I can see like what the contrast is like. You can import colors. So yeah, really good. Definitely recommend going to check it out. It's very helpful.
And for anyone who's joining now, we're about 10 minutes to go, but we're having a full day of streams. I know Tim's been sharing the chat as well. Liz is starting off with, her brand kit in Adobe Express. We'll continue with Adobe Express after this with Anabel. And then we'll be going into photography for the rest of the day in US streams too. So
lots.
Really diving into it for the last hour.
Okay, I've got a couple more things to show you. So another add-on, this is my last add-on to share, but I would recommend going to explore them. So there's this Crikey, I can't even say it, Crikey AI Animate. And so basically what you can do is you can choose an avatar. So say I wanted to create, again, we'll use like my matcha company. I wanted to create something to let people know that there are new flavors of matcha, because we've established that you can have all sorts of pear. I'm going to have to go, Nikki, I'm coming over to try pear, try a pear matcha. But say I wanted to announce this and I didn't want to record a video of myself, but I still wanted it to be like engaging. I could pick a person, an avatar here. So let me pick someone that I want to promote my matcha. I'm going to pick that lady. I can pick a sort of move that she's doing. I think I'm going to stick with the hello wave, but you can like see them all. There's like a birthday one. I can choose the language that I want them to speak, and there's actually loads of languages in there. And the thing that I'm most excited about is you can choose the accent. Now, there is a limited number of accents, but Welsh is in there. There's a Welsh accent. God. I was so excited. So you click on the accent that you want. Now, some of them have more options than others. So in Welsh, you only have Geraint, who's serious. So actually, I'm going to need to change my avatar to a man. But anyway, so you've got serious Geraint. If I went into Australian, I get more options. So like I could have Nicole, who's serious, or Olivia, who's friendly.
Okay.
Let's do that actually.
Somehow the Welsh are just serious.
Yeah, exactly. Which I thought was hilarious, because I think that is not the stereotype of the Welsh. We're not very serious. But anyway, it did make me laugh. So
Can we
Olivia.
please test a Scottish accent?
It doesn't have Scottish.
Oh, it doesn't. Oh my God.
I know. I was like, I can't believe it's got Welsh. I don't think it's got Scottish. We'll have a look in a second. Okay, so then I click generate AI video. Oh, it's not going to do it for us. Oh, no. It might be that you... Okay, it did it. Okay, we're going to have to abandon that. But definitely go and try
Project
it.
abandoned.
Go, project abandoned. Definitely, I guess this is the thing. Because these are sort of like external to Adobe Express, if they've got issues on their end, then that might come through. But go and play with this one. Try the different accents. Go check out Geraint, serious Geraint. I am obsessed with like listening to his Welsh accent. So yeah, but basically what would then happen is the AI video would appear here, and I could then import that into my design. And it's just like another way to create engaging content if you don't want to record yourself on video. There's loads of like pattern add-ons. We all know I love a pattern. So you can like go in and make like geometric patterns and, you know, like load in your colors and customize it and everything. So that's really cool. So before we finish, I think we've got like 5 minutes left.
Yes.
I'm going to head into InDesign.
Oh yeah, we started with that and then just...
Well, we started in Illustrator.
Yeah, but mentioning your love for InDesign.
Exactly, yeah, and then I nearly forgot to go back to it. So I created some brand guidelines for Whisk, my my brand about matcha. So I've put it all in here, which is great. But say this was my client that I wanted to share it with. Obviously, I could share a PDF with them. I could also share it to the web and share a link with them. But I want them to be able to update it because, for example, things like their values might change over time. And I basically don't want them to have to keep coming back to me every time they want to tweak something or if they spot a spelling mistake. So what you can now do in InDesign, if I go to File, there's a button that says Export to Adobe Express. So I'm going to just click that. And I love that you can do it from within, like you can do it from within InDesign. So I'm not having to download it and then drag it in. Yeah. You can now drag InDesign files. Like, you know, when you're starting a project and you just drag a PDF over or an Illustrator file over, you can now do that with InDesign files, but you can also open it from within InDesign. So yeah, it just sort of takes a piece out of the process. Hopefully it's not going to take too long. Are there any questions while we wait for it to load?
We have Karina who's just joined, probably saw that we were live.
Oh, I feel
and
like
lots of colours.
That's flat from Karina.
True.
The fact that
Colour-
Karina likes
well,
the
we had
colours.
Gift Queen and then we have Colour Queen.
Yeah, Karina's the colour queen.
Indeed. Awesome.
So
Any progress?
now
Yeah.
it's opened it in Adobe Express and everything's editable, and it's brought it in with my fonts, like the images that I use. It's got the icons in there, and I can easily, you know, like say this wasn't the icon that I wanted to go here, I can just ungroup it and edit it and update it with another one from the brand kit, because obviously I've got my brand kit already loaded up. So yeah, I can just, it just makes life so much easier. And all of the pages are here. It has brought it in as a presentation. So if like there was a scenario where you wanted to design your presentation slides in InDesign and then bring them in again, like that's going to be super easy. But now I can just like share this with my clients. So what I'm going to do is, because I'm going to share the project with them, I'm going to make it a template. So I'm going to call it my like brand guidelines. It's going to save into that brand kit. I'm going to add a note. This is how to apply the brand. And then I can just share it and save the template. And so we'll put that in. So that's gonna, if we go over to brands now, that will appear in the template section. I think this is genuinely one of my favorite new features in Adobe Express. There's so many of them. Yeah, so I think
Awesome.
that I've kind of like covered
You've covered a lot.
everything.
That was impressive.
I know,
I saw that
made
long
a
list
lot.
from far away.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah, when I showed you the list, you were like,
Wow.
oh.
And we've got a lot of people who are very impressed. Dave's already mentioned sharing with his team, which is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, please spread the word if there's anything that you felt very excited about. And then we have people who are joining a little bit late. So Ivan, thanks for joining. We're still going to be live for the next kind of 6 to 8 hours, you know, quite a long time. And I can give you a quick sneak of what's going to be coming up. So the next session is going to be with Anabel, aka Bellastudies. She's going to be doing a deadline tracker, so also in Adobe Express.
I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
I need a deadline.
You did ask her to
I know, she
submit it to you.
told me, and I was like, please, can I have it when you finish?
And then just for you to know, we're then going to be shifting into photography. So Tony Harmer, the great Tony's with us. And then we have Chris as well, Chris Kreutzer, who was with us actually I think a while back, but you'll recognize him. And I'm super happy to have him back again on stream. And then we'll continue on. So Julia Nimke, loads of great folks who are going to be joining on photography. So please stick around. We're going to be on behance.net/live and on YouTube as well. So see you right there on the next session. Thanks so much, Liz.
Thanks for having me. It was great.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Adobe Live. Oh, I'm going to have such a great day.
Yay. I'm excited.
So here we are, and today I am joined, my name is Tony Homer, by the way. If you've not seen me before, you can recognise me by the facial hair. I am joined today by the lovely Anabel Seidel, who is, well, we're fans, so I'm just going to call you Bella.
Yeah.
Now, is that good?
That's fine, yes.
Fantastic. Yeah. So we've got a fabulous community here, Bella. You'll be able to introduce yourself in just a second, but they're going to be firing the questions at you from here and making their cute comments. There are always cute comments. So we've got those coming on YouTube and on Behance. So get your questions in as you're going. And what we're going to be talking about today, Bella, just before you tell us who you are, what we'll be doing.
We'll be creating a deadline tracker.
Oh, I need one.
I'm all about productivity and motivation. Yeah. So this is something that is dear to my heart because I like to keep my things clean and be just ready for everything. So a deadline tracker is for me essential, and I like to share how I do this.
That is fantastic. So that's deadline tracker is something I need. So I'm going to be watching this really intently. So if I go quiet for a bit, it's just because I'm thinking this would make my life so much easier. So if you had to sum up in a nutshell who you were and where you come from, now's your opportunities to try that out.
Okay. So my name is Bella. I go by Bellastudies on Instagram. It is my kind of safe space. It's my community where I share content about study tips, motivation, some lifestyle content. And the main thing is to be productive and to make the most out of your day. But I'm also a working student. So I always got a lot on my plate, and I need to really do well with my time. So
and hence that where you are. Fantastic. Because when we were talking earlier today, you've got a crazy journey going on. You've all of these different things. It's no wonder that you've focused on productivity because you've just got this going on here, this going on here.
Yeah, it's a lot sometimes, but I think it's still great, and I couldn't do it without having a lot to do. I always need to do something.
Is that a thing you actually feel is a need, like to have loads of variety and different things to go into?
Definitely.
Yeah, same. I can totally get with that. Fantastic. And so the tool of choice we're going to be working in today is Express, right? So
it's Adobe Express.
All in Express?
Yes, all in Express.
Well, I think we should get amongst it then.
Yes. Should I show you first what I have prepared?
Yes,
what I wanted to look in the end?
That would be lovely. Let's do that.
So I will show you here. This is what we are essentially working with and what we want to create. It is simplistic, it is easygoing, but I feel like it is neat. You can see everything, and that's the base of a deadline tracker.
Yep. So absolutely, got it all to view.
Yeah. So we are gonna create this, and we are gonna create it from scratch. But I love the color green, so it has to be in green. You could do any color, but this is just what I want to go with today.
Yeah. Well, if my girlfriend's watching, she'll love this immediately because it's green, because her favourite colour, as I told her, is green.
That's perfect.
Anything you want, as long as it's green, it's great.
So, I guess we're gonna start.
This is so much better than just having a load of Post-it notes all over the wall, which is what I have at the moment.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to trying this.
I used to have like 10 different notebooks and calendars, and in the end you don't know where is what. And also, if you have like multiple jobs, or you have some personal things you need to get like in order, or you have 2 jobs or university, it's just sometimes a lot, and you have to set priorities. So what comes first? Yeah. And this is something that you can do with this.
That's fab. You've just introduced me to another new word, personal. There, so I'm going to pop a beige flag in that one. So I've got that. So, fantastic.
So we're gonna start from scratch, and I am going with a flyer because it's A4.
Yeah.
So it is perfect if you want to print it out later, or if you want to work on your tablet and you just send it as a PDF over. It's super easy, and you can see everything really well.
Nice. Okay.
That's what I love. And I love to print out all the kind of stuff, so...
Okay, that's good. Bit of physical media.
I have this one printed out 3 times in my bag.
Brilliant.
So,
well, let me just tell you who we've got in the chat so far. So I think we've got some people who've stayed on from Liz's stream just on there. We've got Sean in there. We've got Oliver's in here. Oliver, Caroline in here. Andreas is here. Hi, Andreas. Doris
Hi.
is here. Frank, did I mention you? Did I mention you, Frank? Saying, "Oh, the UK lies back." Yeah, it's our Frank, I think. And Patrick, Sean, and over on YouTube, we've got a whole bunch in there. Callum saying, giving you a wave. Hi, guys. So
Hi.
yeah. So right, let's go then. Dave's in there also. So let's go.
Yeah. Okay, so we are gonna start with a text field because we want to do the title first, and it will be, for me, I'm going for a headline.
Yeah.
Because I love this one. I've seen it so many times and I've used it a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take this one, and right now it is a group, but I can ungroup it
Yeah.
whenever I want. I'm just gonna do it a bit bigger so you can see it better. So, and now I'm gonna ungroup it, and I can just go over this and delete it really easily. And also delete this yellow one. And now we have like just the title left.
Yep.
So I'm gonna move this up here,
Okay.
and I'm gonna use 2 different fonts.
Yep.
So to get some variety.
Nice.
So the first one will actually be one of my favorite ones. I've used it a lot. Abril Fat Face.
I love that.
It's,
Yep.
I don't know why, but it just looks
No,
good.
it's really nice.
So we're gonna just do this a little bit smaller, let's say 35. So like this, and name it deadline.
Okay.
So like this. Now we are using the fashion trends and making this tracker. And this one will be in play for display, but in 40.
Okay.
So 40. Oh,
It gets naughty sometimes, doesn't
Yeah.
it? It doesn't want to respond to you.
done.
I have that. I'm glad it's not just me.
Now we're just gonna look here. Wait, what do we have? We have 36. So like
There you
this.
go. Yay!
And now it is like the same size, but it's a bit of variety, and I think it makes it look a lot more beautiful than just having one title and one font. So we're gonna put this here, and now we are adding a text field and going again with play for display and making this size 15, for example, so not too big. And it doesn't like me again, so we are just gonna work our way around. So, and we're moving it directly under the title, like this. And now we're adding our date so that we know which month we have.
Yeah.
So we're gonna call it date, and we have November, so we're gonna say 1st of November 2024 to 30th of November 2024. So,
Wow. I can't believe
Now
it's
we have
November
it.
already.
yes,
And we were talking about Christmas markets just a little while ago. Bonkers.
exactly. But it's a nice time, so it's good.
Yeah.
Next, we're gonna add another text field. And this one will be where we write our name, our month, and our workload.
Okay.
Because it is good to have an overview if a month is pretty busy, or sometimes you don't have too much to do. So
Yeah.
it's good to have this, especially if you work with, I don't know, more people in a team, for example,
Yeah.
and you have projects, and you can just see which person has how much workload, for example, and you can share it with others. So this is what I like about that.
And of course, this is something you could possibly template and then actually collaborate with
Oh, for sure.
others using
yes.
it. So if you
Yes.
use like a color system, maybe.
Definitely,
For,
yes.
Yeah. Okay, that would work.
Everybody can choose their favorite color.
They can. It's going to be really difficult though. If I had like you and Laura in my team, you're going to compete over different kind of tints or shades of
Wow.
green.
We can make it work.
You can make it work. Come to a nice agreement. That's
Oh,
the-
yeah. So we're gonna call this name, month, and workload. So you have all your important information right at the top.
Yep.
And make this a bit smaller. Let's say, make this a 20 or 18. Let's say 20. So it's visible, but it doesn't, isn't too much for the headline. And we're gonna put this here. Pretty
Okay.
simple.
Yep.
So next, we are gonna do the grid. And I know Adobe Express has this new chart and grids, but we're gonna make it from scratch because you have a lot more variety with it. So essentially, I am taking a text field again, and now I'm going with, let's say, size 15.
Yeah.
So look, make it 14, 15, and we're gonna zoom a bit so it's more visible. And we call this task because we will have the first thing on our list will be the task actually, and then we have the date and the priority and everything else.
Yep.
So we're just gonna start with task, and now we are duplicating it. So we're duplicating it 7 times actually, and leave some space in between, because in between we'll now add the lines.
Lines. Okay.
So
Karina, the lovely Karina Lindmeyer is in the chat, and she's saying that she's in need of a deadline tracker for her clients
perfect.
as well. And Sandrine in the chat, hi Sandrine, is saying my deadline tracker is them emailing me, so I'm busy putting me deadline.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's better than my deadline tracker, Sandrine, which is like waking up at 3 a.m. thinking, oh no, I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, but
maybe I'll change.
I feel you. Yes.
I'm going to let you know if you've changed me.
You know what I like? You could also do this maybe in another, I don't know, in another format, but I love that it has some like creativity behind it, and you can make it whatever you want. I love simplicity and like straight lines and everything, but especially if you're working with clients in the creative field, you can really put like, I don't know, maybe brand colors or something behind it to make it fitting for every brand. I think this is always like something very positive.
Yes.
So we are now duplicating one more time. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 ones. And now we go to elements and to shapes. And now we're gonna fill in the lines actually. So we have the lines and arrows, and right here we have the line. So I'm gonna tap on this, it's 4, so that's totally fine. And we are putting this right
it's a good solid
in
line way
between.
there. Yeah.
So it's directly in between. And just make this longer until the end here.
Smart guides in Express are really good.
Yes,
they are really good.
yes, I love this tool because without it I couldn't do this.
Right,
so.
There you go.
Yeah.
And actually, Dave was mentioning in the chat earlier, do you think that guides will be introduced? And I'm presuming he means like ruler guides. That would be a good suggestion. If you like that suggestion also, then you can go and add it to by going to the flask icon in Adobe Express and clicking there.
Wait. Just adding these. So.
Yeah, that alignment's made so easy, isn't it?
Exactly.
Really easy. So what are you what are you studying at the moment? Do you mind sharing what you're studying?
I am studying economics and intercultural communication.
Wow.
So sometimes it can be boring, but I have my creative field of Instagram, so that's like compensating it.
Okay.
So that's
economics
fine.
isn't boring. Economics is fascinating.
It is fascinating, yes. Sometimes it can be a bit boring.
Yeah, it can.
But everything.
Have you ever read Freakonomics or Super Freakonomics by Stephen Dubner and Stephen J. Levitt?
Not yet, but I heard about it a lot. So,
yeah.
There are a lot of books on my list. I have a very big to-read list.
And Tim Harford's, he does. Do you know Tim? He's not personally, do you know him? But you know of his work, yeah. So writes for the Financial Times, amongst other things.
Yeah.
And an economist, fantastic.
Yeah.
I love his stuff.
Now we have all our lines ready. We use 5 lines right now.
Okay.
So if you have a lot more tasks to do for one part, example, if you have a lot of personal stuff for a month, you could do a list with, 9 lines, for example, for the personal or for the job, whatever you like. We're going to work with 5 because I think that's a healthy amount. And now we go over to the shapes and to rectangles.
Okay. And I guess if at any point, like if you were at this point now and you
Yeah.
suddenly thought, oh, I needed 7, you could just grab the word task and the line underneath it and then duplicate that down
yes.
to, yeah.
Yes, so
Yeah.
you can just like do this together
And then
and you can
duplicate
either
that.
group it or just duplicate
Yeah.
it at once, yes. So I personally love the duplicate thing, and especially because it's already here, so I don't have to go to this and do the duplicate, it's just there. So now we have the rectangle, and we change the border thickness to 4 because
So it
we want to
matches.
make it the same as the line. So let's see. Yes.
There we
So
go.
make me 4. So now I will just put this here, make it a bit taller, like this, and a bit slimmer. So, and now we will really line it up with this one. So if you look here, it's like one thing. I always want to show you on here.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good though.
So, and I just also line this up here. So it really is one thing. And now we take the last one and just duplicate it one more time and write in here, for example, subject.
Okay.
If you have different subjects to do, or you write in personal, work, second work, whatever.
Yeah.
So you have all the options and you're just doing it at 90 degree and put it in here.
Lovely.
So now we have this, and now we are actually changing. We have to put it forward. Sometimes it goes back, bring to front.
There we go.
So it's in front of the rectangle. So we have the task. Oh, I have to drink something.
That's okay. In the chat, by the way, Sandrine is just mentioning the charts. So Dave mentioned basic table functions would be useful, and as Sandrine has pointed out in there are tables now, and I think you did that right at the beginning. You showed
Yes.
the table things
Yes.
in there as well.
There are
so,
tables, like we have the charts and grids
Yeah.
right here. But I personally prefer to do it like this because you have so much more variety.
Yeah,
you can
you're
change.
involved and you can,
Yes. So we are going back to the elements, and we are now writing, we have our tasks, and this is like the first field, and then we have the date, because we have a due date when we have to finish something. So this is like the most important of all. Then we have our priority. So I'm gonna call it prio. And you can, for example, use priority 1, 2, 3, and you can see like sometimes you have things that are due on the same day, but one is more important. If you have something personal that is due on that day and something that's for work, maybe you will choose the work one. So you can see which priority is, which one is most important. So the next one is status, or the notes we are adding.
Okay.
And the thing is, if you, for example, use this on your tablet later on, like print it out or use a PDF, send it over to your tablet and write on the tablet, you can always erase, change, and update it all the time. So this is something that I like to do. And the last one is my favorite one. It's if it's done.
Done.
I love to tick that off.
Yeah. Oh, I
Nothing
think
better
we all
than
do.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now it looks like that. It doesn't look finished yet,
No, it's okay.
but we're just moving this up here. So we're gonna have a little bit space between date and task and just put it right in there. And then also the prio.
Yeah.
Then our status and notes. This one's also becoming like a bigger one, like the task.
Yeah.
And in the end, we're gonna put done.
Yeah.
So like this.
That's the good stuff.
And now we are adding like the vertical lines because
Okay.
they are important just to separate everything. So we are gonna take this one. It's already 4,
Yeah.
like all the other ones. And we are moving it 90 degrees upwards. And now we are putting it right here next to date. And let's have a look. It's right there, so everything works well
Good
together.
stuff.
For me, it always has to be very, very precise. And in Adobe Express, you can do this.
Yeah, it makes it
So,
very easy to be
yes.
precise.
So now we are duplicating it very easily. and just put it in here. So date is just right in there. And now again, duplicate it, put it next to priority. We're gonna leave some more space here. And now you can also just
Tom,
check.
Do you specify your priority as numbers, or do you use words like high, low?
Personally,
Yeah.
numbers, yes.
Yeah.
So if you just use numbers, you don't need
Like
such
P1,
a big field.
priority 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But everybody can use whatever they want.
Yeah.
Some work with like high, low, or very urgent or whatever. So yeah.
No, good stuff.
And now we have like the status and notes. What you can also do for priorities, what I always talk about on my Instagram, is a method called, wait, let me have a look, the Eisenhower matrix. And I love to use that on all my tasks, whatever I have to do. It's like 4 rectangles or 4 squares. And number 1 is what is most urgent and what needs to be done the earliest.
Yeah.
And then what is not urgent but should be done the earliest, and so on. So you can decide which one, for example, those would be 4 priorities.
Yeah.
So you can decide, okay, this one will be number 1. It is urgent. You can't really get more time, and this has to be done.
Yeah.
So this is also something that you can work
There's
with.
a thing called a Johari window, which is a little bit like that, the 4 squares.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's slightly different because it's not specifying a priority, but yeah.
So, and now we are using again this line, duplicating it one more time and put it in front of the done, because this one will just be like to tick it off. And we are checking if everything is working together. So yes, looks all good. And now we have our grid. And to make it a bit more pretty, we are taking this one, this rectangle, and we're putting it up here for each of these: task, date, prior, status, and done. So we are duplicating it and just turning it 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And to get a bit better look, I'm gonna make it bigger, and we're starting here. It lines up right away. And
So cool.
Now we are also lining it up here, right at the first one. And now we can just duplicate it until we have this whole row done. So this one we are duplicating like this. So if we layer it over, we only have 1 line, not 2 lines, which I love because it looks good. So
Yeah, because that's the thing. In some applications, it doesn't line up
yes.
on the actual path itself. It uses sort of the outside boundary, which means you end up with super thick lines in between, or worse, just one super thick line.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I think it has to look good, especially if you take the time to make such a planner that you're gonna use for over a longer period of time. It has to look perfect.
Yeah.
So we are also using this. Now we are at the status and notes. And now we just have done one left. So, and we're gonna use the prior because it's nearly the same size. So that's good.
Jane Bradbury in the chat, by the way, who's having a rough day today, Jane. I hope, I hope it
no.
improves. I'm sure it will. I bet it is right now, because she's actually saying this is my sort of stream, building stuff. So that's
great.
really good.
Love that. So, and now we can just take what we've written in the first line here, won't stay in this line. This was just to give us an idea what the dimensions will be. But we are taking this one and just putting it up here, and we have to put it, of course, this one in the back, so the task is in the front, and now we can line it up. Wait, so, and the task,
go.
and we can line it up exactly where we want it. So in the middle of this one. And now we're gonna also put this in the front, so it's up there and exactly lines up. So that will make it look really clean and neat.
And it gives you more confidence in it, right? It's
Yes.
not, it's a thing that when something's built properly, like that, you become confident in it, which means you're more likely to use it.
Exactly.
It just looks professional. If anybody just pops in and looks over your shoulder, it's not like. That's why nobody's allowed in my place anymore, because the post-it notes on the wall just looks very weird.
But I often have post-it notes. Like
Not like I have on the walls.
maybe not.
Looks like some sort of investigation. There's, trying to solve a mystery.
but if it works, it's fine.
It doesn't though, because some of them frequently fall off the wall.
Okay.
So it's not without its habits.
So now I can take both of this. Actually, I'll drag this one here and group it together.
Nice.
And now I can make it a bit bigger and also put it in the center because it should look good.
Yeah.
So we are taking this one and just putting it in the center. It shows us exactly where we need to put it.
Yeah.
And now we can ungroup it again. And now we only group this part without the upper part because this one stays here and we're not going to duplicate it anywhere else. It's just one time and we can use it for all subjects.
Nice.
So we make the most out of the space
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have. So we group it together and now we are gonna duplicate it.
The really great thing that you're showing here, Bella, of course, is that you don't have to be a designer
Yes.
to use this stuff. And I'm sure there will be people watching this who are going to have to do tasks like this who are now thinking, I could do this. But, I mean, you are making it look very, very easy as well. But it's not that difficult at all.
No,
is it?
it's super easy,
Yeah.
I think. And I am not a design person. I'm about productivity.
Yeah.
And this is something that works for me really well. And I think Adobe Express is such a good tool just for this. So now we have 4 of these. So enough space for any projects if you have multiple projects. And it still looks good. You could take the last one and exchange it for extra notes if you want. But I feel like if you have a lot on your plate, you need space. So, and now because I said I'm all about the color green, and it's it represents me, we are of course gonna color
Start making it
coordinate.
green.
Yes. So we are starting with this one, and let's see. Let's go for a custom color. And I want a sage green. I feel like sage green is a beautiful color. So we are going for this one. And I'm just gonna copy it.
Yep.
And have this one here. So we have the first one ready. Now, of course, this one will also be green. And I can just put the color code in here. Oh, no, it's duplicated. Wait.
I think you had the content copied there
Yes.
and not the hex value. But
So, wait. Then we're just gonna do this.
yeah.
So,
That's the sort of thing I normally do, I've got to be honest. So I'm glad you're taking the heat off me for doing that. So thank you.
you're welcome. So, let's see. So now we can go to this field and fill in the color. Let's see if it works. Oh, no. Doesn't let me wait.
Dun, 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 dun. I'm just going to tap on YouTube for a minute because it's going to be quiet. Hang on a second. YouTube. YouTube.
Well,
Hello.
let's see. So I'm gonna just go and copy this one more time. Let's see if it works. And maybe go with I'm just gonna put it into my notes real quick in
There you
case it happens, like my sticky note. And see whatever it says.
Lucy's saying, use the colour picker.
Ooh.
So what she's actually pointing to the eyedropper that you could
That
use
we
from
can
there.
do too, yes.
Yes.
Let's do this one.
Yeah.
So we are going here and just going in here.
I don't know if you've ever seen any of... so Lucy Street is an Express evangelist, or one of the part of the evangelism team. She's located in Wales. Very, very bright, very funny.
Ooh.
And every time I mention her name, the one word springs to mind immediately.
Yeah.
And that's yarn, right?
Yarn.
Yarn.
Okay.
Yeah. Like wool.
Yes.
And whatever. And this is really weird. Oh, Lucy, I've just thought, If there was a Venn diagram going on right now, right, there'd be yarn in the middle of 3 different things here. So and the colour green is kind of
So
interesting.
we have it here.
But Lucy, it's quite a while ago now, maybe 18 months ago, started generating stuff in the early versions of Firefly.
Oh.
But because you can have materials in there.
Yes.
She saw what different things would look like in yarn. Hysterical. And I keep doing it. It's still
I have
very
to
funny.
see it.
Yeah,
I have
really
to have a
good.
look at it.
We'll do it later. We'll do it.
Perfect. So now we're gonna fill
Yarn.
again, and we're using the color. Here,
There
so,
you go,
yes.
Lucy, your tip.
Thank
in
you so
action
much.
Right now, there you
So
are.
let's do this, and we have it all here now. Perfect. So, and now we're also gonna do the rectangle because it's boring if it's just gray. You could use different colors for each of the subjects or parts of your work. I'm gonna go with different shades of green, actually.
Yeah, I was just thinking to myself, I wonder if it's going to be different shades of green.
So let's go with a very light color, like this. Yes. And for the next one, we are going with, I'm gonna go here and use the color picker and just now go a bit down.
Ooh, doing it manual styling, I like it. Yeah.
And the next one again. So let's go with color picker again. Just a bit darker, so it's not too dark for the last one. So we can still actually read the subject.
YouTube's woken up, by the way.
Oh no.
It's really weird that Adobe Live are saying hello, Tony, but we are Adobe Live, so that's kind of
yeah.
weird. They're saying... And Oliver Andrews didn't like me banging on the screen. I think I've given him a headache.
So we have this one. So we have the different green shades,
Yep.
and on top we are gonna also do different shades. So just make it work like this one. And I feel this makes it so much more alive.
Yeah.
And this is where you can use like colors for the brand you're working with,
Yep.
or your personal brand colors, whatever you like to use.
Well, I already know what your personal brand colour is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it might be green. I'm just going to throw
Could
that
be.
out there.
It's like my whole personality.
Yeah.
And I hear it often, and I get a lot of messages. Wait, we have to go down a bit, actually, to get the last one. I hear oftentimes or get like comments like, oh, I saw something green. It reminded me of Bella. And it's a compliment. I mean, it's a lovely
If you're
color.
synonymous with the colour, absolutely. And
Yes.
especially given that it's one of the most prevalent colours in the world. I mean,
Yes.
most of the world, the life in our world comes from 2 colours, blue and green. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and this one's gonna be a little darker, but we still can read all the text. And this is basically the deadline tracker.
Yep.
You could add, for example, a background. And I have one in mind.
Have you?
Yes.
Is it green?
It's green.
Brilliant.
So we are going to backgrounds. Actually, oh, it's already here. See, I already used it multiple times. So it looks very, very bright right now, but we're gonna change that because we're gonna change the opacity
Okay.
here, and we're making it very light, like this.
Yep.
And now this one looks a bit chaotic, of course.
Yeah.
But we could use the elements again and just go to rectangles. So let's see, we have the shapes, and not use one with a border, but just use like the plain
Shape
rectangle.
itself, yeah,
Yes.
but just a fill.
And this one we're gonna fill with white color, so we
Okay.
can still read everything well. And I guess if you want to print it out multiple times, maybe it's more economically friendly if you keep the background white.
Yeah.
It's easier for printing it out. But if you want to use it on your tablet, you can play around with the backgrounds and make it look as much as you want it to make. So, and we're just gonna fill this in here like this. and make it fitting. And then, let's see, so here, just gonna put this one here and drag it all over until the end. So, like this. But now it is in front of our grid. So essentially we have to put it to the back. Let's see, send it backwards. And it really is now prominent on the page.
Yeah, it makes it nice and easy to see. Absolutely.
And now we are just duplicating this and putting it here and just making it fitting. So this one goes up here and it fits in there perfectly.
Yeah, because you based it all on the same structure anyway, so it will. Yeah, perfect.
And if you use different lines, different amounts of lines for each, if you know one part has to have more lines, one subject or whatever, of course you have to then
just modify it as you
modify
need.
it, yes. But it's super easy to do so. So here we see it's just tiny bit on side, but we can easily put this here.
Almost like you did that on purpose.
Oh,
it's crazy.
Maybe I did that.
Maybe you did.
Just want to say I did it. And now we're gonna duplicate it one more time, and we can duplicate this one. It's no problem. And actually just pull it into the corners again. And as I said, like if you take your time to do this once, you have it. And then it's just there. You can use it over and over again, and you can even use it for other stuff. It doesn't need to be a deadline tracker. It could be like
just
a task tracker.
Tracker.
So that's it, basically.
Ooh, there's an Inception moment. You've got a tracker.
Yes.
To follow all of your different trackers.
Gonna fill this one.
I think that if in mine, I think, so I'm going to make one. I think in mine, I would change the priority thing. See, I like to use icons, things like that. So I think maybe for priority, I'd put traffic lights in there maybe. Sort of a red,
nice
amber, green traffic light. I think that might work for that.
That's a good
for
idea.
done, definitely going to be one of two things, maybe both. So the party emoji, the one with the hat.
Oh, yes.
So that.
Yes.
Or big bag of cash. So, so both of those emojis I think would work really, really well.
We could also use like a miniature GIF from Liz.
Absolutely. Yeah, could.
Yeah?
Yeah, could. And so if you were going to share this now, you could share this out to.
I could either download it as a PDF, for example, and just like it's PDF standard, or printing if I want to do that, and print it out or send it as a PDF to myself, or I go to share. Let's see what it says, and I can add myself, for example, if I work on multiple surfaces, laptop, tablet, whatever. Or I can also send out the link itself, whatever I want to do, or save it to my cloud. So, or make a template.
There you go, and then you've got it for.
Yes.
And make the parts that you need editable from that. Fantastic.
Exactly.
That's really good. Tim, by the way, is hazing me in the chat with. You might be tough printing out a GIF unless you live in the magical universe of a certain wizard. Good point, Tim. Thanks.
Good point, yes.
Saved me from embarrassment later on with that one, so that's kind of good. Who earlier, by the way, it was reminding me that's the one. Oh, that must have been disappointing for you. That the one colour you can't wear in here, of course, is green because of seeing the background. But Dave actually suggested April Fool's Day next year. We all stream wearing green, which would be really weird. It's.
It could be fun.
That could be fun, just a load of floating heads bobbing around.
It took me some time because I had an outfit ready, and it was, of course, a green sweater. So, and when I read I can't wear green, I was like a bit disappointed, but found something else.
Such good stuff. So, there's so many different variations you could build on this, which is really good to have. So. I'm just trying to think actually of other ways we could work around this. I'm just thinking for a couple of things I was watching, mind you, I was just thinking, is there a faster way I would do any of that stuff? But really there isn't, because you've changed the different colours in the top bar just there. Yeah, that's because I was just thinking I would have just drawn one rectangle around there.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I wonder why you're drawing all of those rectangles. And now I know, of course, because you've got all of the different greens in there.
Yes.
Yes, very good. Very good. Well, we've still got about a quarter of an hour, by the way, so we can go ahead and explore some other stuff. And Raphael is saying he missed the Liz Mosley stream. Well, Liz will be back a little bit later on, in about 20 minutes or so, actually, with me, I think. So she'll be back later on. We've got a lot of content coming up today. The photo streams start shortly with myself. Let me just have a look at what we've got here. So at 2 o'clock European time, so 1 p.m. for you Brits, we've got myself and Liz, and then we've got Chris and Liz at 3 o'clock European time. I'm giving here, by the way. And then we've got Uli after that, and then we've got Yulia after that as well. So we've got quite a lot going on.
Yeah, quite a lot today.
Over into there. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Right, so let's have a look. Well, let's have a look at a couple of. What other things do you use in Express to make your life easier or to increase your productivity? Are there any other tips you could share from?
I would say like most of it is tracker building, whatever kind of trackers, and I actually work all of those trackers with this one.
Wow, okay.
So this is where I started out this is why I wanted to show this, because it is so versatile. But you could also, if you could also work with the charts and grids.
Yeah.
I can show you this one a bit.
That would be lovely if we could take a look at that. It'd be fantastic.
Yes, of course. So again, let's go with flyer again. It's like A4.
Yes.
For me, it's the best format for anything.
Yes.
So of course we got our recommendations, and now we have the charts and grids.
Oh, that's lovely. If you don't mind showing this, that's fantastic.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Oh, so we've got some tables down there. Look at that.
We have like the charts, all kind of, and you can put in your own numbers.
Yeah.
Or you have the tables, and they are actually new. They are quite new. I just read on Adobe on the website about it.
Yeah.
So this is why I saw it first, and we have our grids if we want to put like photos in it.
Yeah, they've been around a while, the grids, haven't they?
So you could just use one of those tables, for
Shall
example.
we play with one and see what it works like?
Oh yes, for sure. It's like experimenting.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's good. I don't mind exploring this. It's
So let's see. So we have like this one as a whole, and you can change the color. Yes.
Yes.
Let's see.
It's not green enough for you.
It's not green enough. No.
No.
Let's take one of these here. Let's take this one. This one's a really nice, vibrant color.
It is. That's very green.
Yes. And we can also change the border actually. So we can could make it black so you see everything.
Now you can.
This is something what would be nice if you want to write in there actually.
Yeah.
And let's see, add a row.
All right. Okay,
That's
so
a nice feature.
Yeah.
Learning something new.
And I wonder if it duplicates. So if we just can we undo that just a second and then focus on. So now click in one of the rows beneath. Now do add a row. I just want to know if it duplicates. It does.
Yes.
It duplicates the row that you're
Exactly.
currently focused in. And if you hover over any of the lines, does it give you a double arrow so you can move?
Yes, of
Yeah,
course.
so you can narrow those. Oh, so if you wanted them all to be
Let's see.
that height. So it's very much like, a little bit like working with a table in InDesign.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it is a nice feature, and it makes working easier probably. And if you don't have time, this is probably the right tool to do a tracker.
Yeah.
So let's see, and I think add column would also make it green at the top. Yes.
There you go. So right, it does depend. Yeah, I guess with a column, it will be whatever's at the top of that column.
Yes.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
That's like a really cool thing, and you can write in there. Let's say hi.
There we go. Hi.
Hi. Yeah, you can change everything. That's really cool. So let's do fat face because we love fat face. And can we just do this one? Yeah, I think it is a very nice and easy tool to work with. I personally prefer like my lines and rectangles
Yeah.
to be very, very dependent on myself, and I can do whatever I want, but this is like a really cool feature, and we can
Yeah.
try out the charts.
Yeah.
So let's just...
One of the things, I guess, with the way that you build it, because there's a lot to be said sometimes for taking
Yes.
time in doing things, because it's good for your mind. Because when you're moving rectangles around, you're not having to make really critical decisions. That all of the things like alignment are taken care of by the smart guides. So there is a thing to be said for taking things slowly and not having them built out in this way. And sometimes, while it's great to have these are very, very useful.
Yeah.
But in what you're doing, I think it is probably better in many ways to start to carry on doing it the way that you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you just get that little bit of where you allow your brain to slip into neutral as you're working. You know, you're not making any critical
Exactly,
demands on your brain. Yeah. I think that would be a good thing.
That's true. No, I like to just take the time for this. And the tracker I did first, I was playing around a lot with the lines and the rectangles, what works best, like what kind of sizes I'm gonna go with. So, but if you are in a hurry, I think this is also a very
Do
good
something quickly.
alternative.
Yeah.
So
I do
let's-
wonder actually if when you come back at some future point and do a similar thing, I wonder if you'll go straight into the into the table.
We'll
Okay,
see.
we'll just wait and see.
I'm gonna try this tool out to the best way possible.
Absolutely.
So-
And before I forget, actually, and Tim has just helpfully reminded me
Yeah.
in the chat, where can people find you on the internet?
I'm on Instagram. It's
Yeah.
called Bellastudies.
Yep,
Like I'm studying all the
there
time.
you go.
And it is my main platform. So
Yeah.
I am a little bit on YouTube, but mostly
Mainly Instagram. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's where I have my community, and I feel really safe. And actually, when I started
And there's
out,
a lot of green.
there's a lot of green. Everything
Yeah.
is green, like really everything. But it was just a motivation for myself, because I just started posting like my desk and nothing else for me.
Right.
And then it grew into the study community, and now I really have a lot of like friends actually that are also interested in the same stuff. So it is a nice community.
Yeah.
So
No, I love it. Actually, Liz was asking, and Liz, remind me, isn't your favourite colour green as well? I think, Liz, let me know in the chat, because I'm so Liz, her building your brand site, that was always predominantly green. I've got a really sneaking suspicion that there's more green favouritism in here than earlier.
we're gonna
thought.
talk about this later.
Yeah, and Tim's talking about so Uma's asking about the noise in the background. It's someone outside with like an industrial strength leaf blower. That's just, and we're a few floors up. We're like 5 floors up. So
We still can hear
it's
it.
quite loud through all that glass. And Liz says it's definitely her favourite colour. It's a conspiracy.
I totally understand.
And earlier, I mean, one of the curveballs she threw at me earlier when we were chatting was talking about the military academy and whatever else, and I said, "Oh, right, okay, that makes sense that you'd be
makes
drawn to that. Like, because any colour you like, as long as it's green, it's okay."
No matter what kind of green, light green, dark green.
And in fact, multiple shades of green.
Yeah.
Really, you're
It's
all in.
perfect for me.
There you go. Yeah, fantastic.
Now we know why I did this.
There you go. You see, unravelled everything for a reason.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think if that's about all we've got, I think for now. It's been really lovely spending this time with you.
Thank
I
you so
really
much for the
enjoyed
invitation. It was amazing.
Oh, it was really great. I really enjoyed spending this. So, and I'm watching what you're doing, and it's something I definitely need in my life. So I'm going to get hold of that, and I'm going to be making my own trackers. I'll send you one as soon as I've done one. I'll send you it to prove you that I've done it. Yeah. Okay.
Can't
and if I
wait.
haven't done it within the next week,
I'm gonna write you where is the
yeah,
tracker.
that's right. Start hazing me with all of that good stuff. Anyway, right, fantastic. Thank you so much. That's it from myself and Anabel right now, Bella, right now. Okay, we are done here and be back in about 10 minutes. So take a quick break, grab yourself a nice cuppa, and we'll see you then. Fantastic.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Bella. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Hello.
Hey.
Welcome back to our third live stream of the day. We've got a whole day of streaming ahead of us, and I am here with my old pal, young pal,
Well, you can be old in the sense that we've known
old
each other
in
a while.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, I am
That's what I
like,
meant. That's what I meant.
as I'm frequently say, I'm older than most trees. So it's I'm with it now. I've become comfortable with
Well,
it.
now that I've taught you what beige flag means, you're like hip and down with the kid.
And you just managed to drop that in at the same time.
So smooth. Anyway, we've got carried away right from the start.
We did.
So, we've got another stream coming up. I think you're covering a bit of everything, aren't you? What are you covering today, Tony?
So, because this kicks off the photography stream, so it's photography day today in the main, but also Express Day, because every day is an Express Day.
Every day's an Adobe
So,
Express Day.
I'm actually going to get between 3 apps.
Nice.
So, I'm going to do some stuff in Photoshop, and then I'm going to do some stuff in InDesign,
Nice.
and then we're going to go to Express, just like someone else did earlier.
Sorry, I stole your thunder.
No, sorry, no, it's all good. It's all good.
Okay, awesome.
So,
should we crack straight on with it?
I think we should. I think we perhaps should. Right, so I'm here in Photoshop. What I'm going to be using, and I'm just going to use File Open just for a moment and just show you some of the stuff. I don't know if you've seen any of this stuff, but for the last 283 days now, I've been on my 1,000 image project of publishing a new edit.
And you post them every day. That's really impressive.
Yeah, so it's to go over 1,000 images, 10 books of the series, 13 books in total, because there's a book going to be on just black and white only. There's going to be a book on portraits, which we haven't got to in the series yet, later on. And then there's going to be a book of the stories behind some of the pictures. Some of the pictures have got a story behind them. So they'll be the ones that are picked out, and then the story. So there's some things of places. You know that I was homeless, right, when I was younger for a time.
Yeah.
So there's some images around that tell some of the stories around that, and some other bits, and some things that are really, really funny, including some of the things where we were shooting and something went
there
wrong.
would have to be some funny stories, wouldn't there? Have you found, like, because I think doing personal, like, creative projects like this, like, have you found that it's, like, reignited your creativity?
Yeah.
Not that it needed reigniting, but, you know, like, it just gives you... I just think these sort of projects are so good, aren't they, for just seeing things from a different perspective, doing something a bit different. Yeah,
it has. I mean, last October, I came to the pinch point, and there's my book. we have
very
and I didn't bring that with me, by the way. That's so last October, I had a dramatic life change which was going to happen anyway at that particular thing. If you remember, we were talking about that when we were at Max. But that changed, and everything. I moved back up country, and a lot of whole other things changed. And I thought, right, okay, I need to immerse myself in my creativity, and so I did. And I thought, do you know what, my editing could do with a bit of love. And I was going around sort of rediscovering Nottingham, which is where I studied and where I spent 11 years of my life there. Wanted to move back there, and did. And so I started going around photographing things as I was rediscovering the city. And in fact, that one is from Maiden Lane in Nottingham. This is another one in Nottingham. Can't remember the name of that particular road.
I love the black and white edits. They're really beautiful.
Thank you. This is the Castle Walk here. Again, this isn't in Nottingham. It hasn't got an ocean.
A cliff just
Strangely enough. Yeah, here was Leicester once, but no, it's no longer there. This also isn't Nottingham. This is where we are right now.
I recognise
That's
it.
where we are. Yeah, from there. So,
well, obviously, you carry it on while you're on your travels, don't you?
yeah, and I mean that's in Delhi. That's got nothing to do with Nottingham at all, and that's just one of my cats. But anyway. Also in Delhi. So I thought, okay, well, I need to reconnect with photography. And so I started doing that. I did level 2 photography there because I did that as a student but dropped it. And so I picked that up level 2. Level 3 is something for later on this year, start level 3. And then I'll go on and do level 4 degree level after that if I'm still into that. So that's kind of good. I found my old photography homework.
Did you?
The other week. It was hilarious. It was all handwritten because it was before computers, and there's like 2 hard notebooks with all of my stuff in it. Newton's corpuscular theory of light.
Yeah.
It's like wild.
That's
I've got
cool.
to read that so I know what it is.
Yeah. Good that you made notes on it.
It's good that I made notes. But I did that, and I also started live drawing at the same time, which we're not going to be showing here. And then when I was by February, when I was well into doing this, I thought I'm going to make myself better at doing this by doing it every day.
Yeah.
And so that's what I've done.
And also, I love that you're sharing like as you go.
Yeah.
And like, you know, like I think there's so much value in sharing as you learn and as you like improve. I like to watch that as like a member of your audience. I don't know how you put it.
Thank you. But it's a great, and I invite comments on it, and I want people to talk to me about it, and I want people to tell me things that they might have done differently, and you know, and that I can learn from, and that's really good to do. So that's kind of where I'm at. So
that's your starting point. Those
that's
images.
my starting point. Yeah, absolutely. So I picked. So it didn't become an enormous volume because obviously I've got 284 images to choose from at the moment from the ones that have been published, including the one for tomorrow. But I just wanted to pick out some of the black and white ones because that's the focus of the thing that I'm building at the moment in the background, which is the book of black and whites. But of course, none of the books can be finished until the project's finished. The books like that one, volume 1 of that, volume 2 and 3 coming along shortly. There's been a slight delay on volume 2. But they'll both be out by Christmas.
And do the QR codes lead to the YouTube video?
They do.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So people can go and watch the edit happen.
And I've actually got a making of movie coming out of all of that process shortly. Well, it's in fact it's a course. Okay. I've got that coming out shortly, so showing how the whole thing was put together, which is interesting. I don't know why somebody would want to buy that, but they did.
So what are we doing today?
So what we're going to do is we're going to work on how I would work through part of this process. So what needs to happen here, we're going to create a template eventually in InDesign, in Express, so it will go through InDesign. And it'll only be a template for the purposes of the copy, because I'm not the best copywriter.
I don't believe you.
Well, I'm not. But okay, it's a made-up scenario. We're going to pretend.
Sorry, I ruined your made-up scenario. Anyway,
you've been reading my other books. No, but it's true. It is a made-up scenario. But I'm going to pretend that I'm not the best copywriter, right? And that I want to hand this off to somebody who is a really good copywriter but doesn't have any Adobe applications on there.
Yeah, which is
to work with to write the copy. So I can provide the layout with the content in, then they can write the copy for me, which I can then harvest and bring back in myself. So that's the scenario.
Nice. I like it.
So, first of all, what I need to do is I need to kind of identify. I love this image, by the way. This is Cardington Sheds, film Batman in there. And this particular thing that says explosion tests.
That's cool.
There. They don't do explosion tests outside anymore, but they used to. But it's handy to have. But they are. So I'm going to put something together first of all. So all of these images are 2550 square, right? So in fact, if I open one like that one there, and show you can see 21.55 centimeters, 0.59 centimeters, whatever it is. And here, if I go to pixels, you can see 2550 at 300 ppi. So I'm actually going to create a new image for that. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So 2550, like so, and the tab order in here throws me sometimes. There we go.
Where you expect it to go.
I'm expecting it to go from one place, but it just kind of doesn't want to play ball with me. And let's try that again, just there with feeling. There we are, 2550 by 2550 at 300. I'm not worried about the background colour that much, but I think I will change it to grey just for the minute. This is what I do when I'm drawing. On here is change it to grey.
Nice. Like
so. That way I've got fairly neutral, well, in fact, very, very neutral background to work with. And all I'm going to do here is just add some text. So if I get my type tool, and then I'm going to click just here at the moment. And let's change the colour. I'll just make it white to start off with. And then we'll go ahead and choose some options here. So I'm going to make this Lato, like so. And
is that how Is that how you say it? Lato.
Well, it could be tomato, tomato.
I
It could be
see.
lato, later. How do you say it?
Lato.
Good golly.
I didn't know it
This
was
is splendidly
lato.
posh.
Lato.
Oh, no,
I
no,
feel
I
like
don't
I'm
know
gonna
what to
No, I
say.
don't know what to say now either.
And we've got nowhere to go with that. We can't, there's no middle ground. We can
Let
say
us know in the chat if you would say lato or
or
lato.
lato. Yeah, so you can figure out how to spell it out to us phonetically.
It's like the GIF and GIF debate.
I know because, Bella said GIF.
I know.
It's GIF, by
Which,
the way.
no, apparently it's GIF. Anyway, no, let's not start this.
In a
Carry
jiffy.
on.
In a jiffy
Carry
for Giphy. But anyway.
There's too many potential derailments in this live stream.
I know. Anyway, right, okay, so in here, I'm going to pop my caps lock on, actually, for this one, like I do when I'm typing comments.
Is this so that people think you're shouting at them?
Like, hello, Uma! I caught that one earlier, actually, before it actually went out, so that was kind of good. I'm just thinking that possibly I want to go even heavier than that. There we go. I'm going to go with black, and then I'm just going to hover with... Tim will love this, because this is how Tim and I formed our friendship. Here, I'm hovering over the type size just there, and I get stapler accident finger, right? So if I press down now and drag to the side, it means there's less messing around in that dialogue to do that, so I can just change the size.
I love that
like
you
so.
call it stapler accident thing.
Tim translated it into German and 3D printed it. I've got one above my light switch in my studio at home.
Oh dear.
It's got a little black stapler accident finger. He made a little thin connector with the two arrow points on either side.
Nice.
But there you go. That's how it rolls. There we go. Something like that. That's maybe just a touch intrusive, so I'm just going to scale that back a little bit there. But I do also want people who may be watching it on a phone, I want them to be able to see it as well.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason for me to making it so in your face
Very thoughtful.
as it is right now. And then I can go ahead and style this. So I'm actually going to use the layer styling just here. So I'm going to double click in the void at the empty area just to the right here. So I've got the layer style options. And from here, I think I'm going to drop the opacity down to maybe something like 80%. In fact, I'm going to type 80. So now we're at exactly 80% just here. And I might even change the blend mode here to screen. Okay, because it's a light color, or will be a light color, it's not going to be exactly white in just a moment. I think I'll make it just a very, very, very light gray here. But that is where lighter colors are more opaque. Okay, so I'm going to change that like so. That's good the way it is. In fact, I think I probably could live with that color. Let's just dial it down just a tiny bit though. There we go, because I've said what I've said. So there we are. All good. Right, there we go. Perfect. I've got that. So that's exactly where I want it to be. So what I'm actually going to do here, that was fun. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to get rid of the background now. Okay, so the text is still there.
But you just can't really see
Can't see it. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to save it into this folder here, and I'm going to drop it into a new folder in there. Okay, so I'm just going to call this property, like so, because apparently that's how I'm supposed to refer to it.
Right.
Okay, I know, include the property, that's what it says. So there you go. And we'll just call this property also.
Angus is very thankful he's watching it on a phone, so he was like, "Thank
Yay!
you for
There we go, validated.
Yeah, your thoughtfulness is
There
paid
we
off."
are. Okay, so PSD is exactly what I want just there, so that's great. I'm going to maximize compatibility, which is also great. Okay, and then I'm going to close that image. So, next step, because I need to do, let's pretend I've got more than 20 images there. Let's pretend I've got like 100, which is the entire contents of a book. Okay, then I'm going to want to change that. So I'm going to go to my actions for this. Now, if you're watching the US streams later, I think Anna's doing something.
Yeah, Anna loves actions.
She does.
I saw her stories about it the other day.
She did, yeah, and she's saying that she had so many comments from people saying,
What are actions?
What are actions?
I know, that surprised me.
I know. So, well, hence it's in here.
Yeah,
so
yeah, it's good. I think it is. It's good to cover.
Yeah, and that way we're getting it across in Europe at the same time.
yeah.
Like everybody should watch Anna. 'Cause
Everyone,
she's fantastic.
everyone. She is brilliant.
Yeah, she is. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a new set here to start off with. We'll call that tones. Like so, because it is mine, but I'm not putting an apostrophe in there because that's just too much.
Because you're not a very good copywriter, Tony.
I'm not a very good copywriter. Yeah. Side note: ask me later on about the copywriting I did for the clothing stuff, and I'll tell you about that. It's quite funny. Anyway, right, I'm going to call this one props, just there, like so. And the set it's going to go into is tones. I'm not going to add a function key for it. I have got F keys on my keyboard, as most of us have. Okay, but these aren't actually mapped on this particular machine. So it was just do the multimedia functions on this one. But I could map it to that, and also colour. If I wanted to include it in a colour, like so. And this is the thing that people often miss, right? That they do this, okay. Now I'm going to record it, okay, then... Okay, we'll talk about the colour bit in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to hit record, and in the actions panel, you can tell that it is now recording. So anything I do in here now
it's going to be recorded.
Is going to be recorded, absolutely. So I'm going to go to the file menu, and I'm going to choose place linked. Okay, like so. There's my property PSD. Now I don't need to do anything about placing it in a particular place because I've made the overlay exactly the same size as the output. Okay, so I know exactly when that's going to be, because when everything's done,
you've done that work already.
Oh, I have, yeah, and it's all there. Makes it easy.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be the same size, but then you've got to think about the positioning of it as well. And there's another thing you can do in actions which we're not covering, which is called conditional actions, which can make some evaluation. So if you've got some photographs which are landscape and some are portrait, conditional action can help you to identify those and then place that in a different place. But that's perhaps for another day. Get me back, Tim. We'll talk about that. Okay, or get Anna to do it. That would be even more fun. Right, so I'm just going to hit return, and that's it. That's now placed. Now that is all I want to happen there, right, apart from it needs to be saved somewhere. So I could go to the file menu here, okay, and then I could just choose save a copy or do save as. In fact, let's choose save as in here, and I'm just going to create another new folder called done, like so, because I can't put the party emoji in there, as I was saying earlier on, and then change that. Oh, actually, I've got to do it save a copy, so let me cancel out of that. But at least I've got a folder ready to go.
Okay, this lets me ask a question that I wanted to ask. When you're recording, if you do something wrong, like you just did,
you can delete it in there.
Okay.
You can absolutely delete it in there.
So you don't have to start again and re-record it. You can just go in and take out that little bit.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, you can go there. You can just focus on it. In fact, we'll show you in just a second. Right, so if I choose done to where that's going to go, like so, and then just choose the JPEG options and go OK. That's it. Now I'm just going to stop the recording, like so. So if I didn't want that particular part of that action, all I need to do is highlight it. Okay, and then just click that, and that's it, and make it go away, and that's it, it's done. Now, actions can be super fun, so we'll see how this works out in just a moment.
I feel like you're trying to convince everybody. They can be fun,
They can,
honestly.
even if you do them. The thing is, it's not one of those things that you do, that I do every day.
Yeah.
And so, because it's not something I do every day, I maybe do like an intense period of a week, like at the moment where I've got like 3 different things in production that require this to do. You would think that starts next week, unfortunately, but so I'll get better at it by next week. But otherwise I just don't carry that information in my head all the time. I know what's possible, but whether or not I implement it is another thing altogether. Right, so I'm just going to get rid of that one in there. Right, so there's nothing in the done folder at the moment. Then I'm going to close this up. I don't want to save that. Okay, I'm going to click back on the Photoshop icon from the home screen here to get me back into that. Then I'm going to go to the File menu. I'm going to choose Automate and Batch, like so.
That's cool.
So it's going to come from the set Tones. The action I want is props. How convenient that it's remembered those things. And this is live, so we know it actually has done it. So where's the source going to come from? So the source folder is going to be this one. Okay, so DLE underscore
that's where you've got all your images
That's where all the images are. Okay, so I'm going to choose that. Now I'm not going to add include all subfolders. No, because obviously the done folder's in there, so it'll start. It's,
oh my goodness, it would like go on forever.
We'll still be here at 4 o'clock going, and honestly, Liz, it's nearly finished.
Honestly, actions are great.
Exactly, but they can bite you sometimes.
Yeah.
And where's the destination going to be? So you've got options here, and we're going to choose just this like so. Okay, and then I'm going to dive into this folder. I'm going to go and highlight done and choose. Now I've got override actions, save as commands highlighted this there, so it should run on its own. Now what I could do is actually I could get a Finder window open. Let's open that in a new tab. Just there, not enough people use tabs in my opinion. Okay, so I'm going to leave everything there just normal. Let's see. Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Let's see what happens.
Ooh, it's going,
there we go. We've got things running away in the background.
Things appearing.
Just there. But let's hope they're all different images and not the same one with different file names. Okay, let's go back and have a quick look.
Let's go. Yes,
There we are.
you did it.
They're all done.
That sounded so patronising. Well done, Tony. You did it.
Have a sticker.
That is cool. That's really good. There's just so many use cases for this, but I think it's exactly what you said, because people don't use them like every day. Like your brain doesn't necessarily think, oh, this would be so much easier with an action. So it's good to be reminded.
And
of what
they
you can do.
they occur in Illustrator as well. You can record actions in
yeah.
Illustrator too. I mean, the default actions that are in Illustrator could do with some work. Illustrator team, if you're watching, they really could. But in Photoshop, there's a whole bunch of things in there which are like super useful. Hopefully, screen zooming's working, which it is. Just there, so you can see you've got a whole bunch of other. I mean, some of these are kind of frivolous, water reflection, whatever. I don't think you'd use anything like that anymore. But sepia toning, you might. Yeah, those kind of things you might use it. But there's plenty to do, and also there are commercially available actions. And
Yeah.
if you're someone who's good with actions and you can think about actions that other people might have value in, there's nothing to stop you creating those sets and selling them.
Yeah.
You know,
That makes sense. A bit like presets, isn't it? Where you've done the work and then other people can use it.
And there are people like Flurboss. I mean, there's loads of other people, but Flurboss, they have whole business based on producing things that make things work really quickly. Anyway, that's it for Photoshop right now, and I'll see you next week, Liz. Bye.
Yeah.
So I'm going to jump across then into InDesign.
Yay.
Okay, so we're going to go to Web 1920, which is like, it feels like it came from that year when you express it like that, but there you are. Okay, so we're in InDesign. We've got our document ready just here, and then we can start to populate it with some stuff. So I'm going to just do something for a cover first of all, which gets us, because I like to drop in loads of skills, even if they're not desperately relevant for what we're doing here. Still going to be handy. So what I want to do is I want to actually go ahead and add a whole bunch of images to this nice grid of images to start off with. I've got 20, so that's fairly easy to work with. And I'm going to tap F to get my frame tool. And again, this is just the thing that I'm going to show you right now. I don't know if you've probably seen this like a bazillion times. Right, and maybe a lot of people who are watching are, but maybe not all of them.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. So I need 20 different boxes on here. So let's have a look at the different ways I could do that. So I could create that frame like so. Now there's nothing to stop me selecting that, and holding then the Option key and dragging that across. And I never remember what the transform again command is in here. There you go, transform sequence again, do that, and then just carry on doing that across like so. So that's one way I could do it. You could, of course, select a whole bunch of things, and then you could use step and repeat in there, which I think is in layout somewhere. Who knows? I
We've lost it. Don't worry about that.
Don't use it very often at all. Okay, but I could do that. But also, there's a thing. This feature has been around, I think, since InDesign CS3 or 4, something like that. So it's been around a long while. But we have so many other things to watch. So I would like them.
Forget about the classic features.
We do, absolutely. I know that I've watched some things myself recently and seen things and thought, oh, wow, I'd forgotten about that. That it even existed. It's just crazy. Anyway, just so you can see, and I mean, I know this might be difficult for you, Angus, watching on the phone, or anybody else watching on the phone, but trust me, well, in fact, I'm not going to draw the whole box at the moment. We can see the whole box, by the way. Incidentally, I've got to just stay where you are, Liz. I've just got to do something else for the people in the green room, because there was something earlier on here. Right, let me just grab that like so. Yeah, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that down here because there was like a brief point earlier
I was
on.
like, Minnie
that
Mouse.
you were like that. I was
dear.
having monster chuckles.
I bet you were.
Anyway, right, back to the
Well, I'm glad we've recreated it again.
back to the main event. Anyway, right, sorry. Had to do it though because it's my beige flag. I've got my shape here, like so. Right, so this is not a shape. I've got my frame, right? But I want 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to suggest with this layout that 4 rows of 5 columns is probably a good idea.
Yeah.
And so while I'm dragging that, okay, so I've not stopped that operation. I'm going to hit the right arrow key on my keyboard, like so, until I've got the 5 columns. Then I'm going to hit the up arrow, like so, until I've got the 4 rows that I want. I'm then going to hold down my space bar and drag that to where I want them to start, and then just complete over to the side here, like that, and then release. And then I've got everything I need in one place.
Yeah, that's really good.
I mean, they're all completely the wrong orientation for what I want to do.
Yeah,
but,
they're
you
the
know.
wrong size, but you know.
So I'm going to try that again, this time with squares. So let's do that. All right, so, and 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, there we go. And I'm going to hold down Shift, which keeps them constrained.
I was going to say, yeah, so holding down Shift is the thing that keeps them the square.
Absolutely.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So, and
That's really good.
yeah, it works pretty well, right? That unobtrusive blue arrow there, super fun that is. Now there are still more things I could do with this. So here's the thing, right? If I click and drag this, what's going to happen? That, right?
Yeah.
Now if I do that again, but I pause slightly before I do it, so just pausing for a third of a second gives you something called patient user mode, which is where it will show you what you're actually going to do from there, right? However, pressing for patient user mode, going along, but now holding down the space bar,
Nice.
you can see
So
how I can
keep them
space that out
square.
like so,
Yeah.
keep them square, but deliver them across.
What is it? Patient.
Patient user mode.
Oh.
I know, it's engineering-y, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't think of any other way to express it.
No, but is that what it's actually called?
Yeah, patient user mode.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
We all need to be a bit more patient.
I definitely need to be a little patient. Anyway, but it's just a handy thing to know, right, that you can do that, and then just holding down the space bar gives you that option there, like so. So I think I'm just going to space those pretty much back to what they were, just there. There we are. And in case you're wondering where that original spacing comes from, right, because some people might think, well, why is the spacing so narrow between there? Is it because of the way you drew the shapes out? Actually, the spacing comes from margins and columns, or when you create the document setup and you specify the gutters in between there, that's what gets carried forward
Nice.
into here. There we go. See, it's every day's a school day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now I feel really irritating.
No, I love it.
Anyway, right, so now I need to place some content into this. So Command D, Control D to do that. And let's go to the desktop. Let's go into here. Let's go into here. Then let's go into, actually we can have these.
Which one you want?
Well, we could, but I'm
not
going
on
to
the
use
cover.
those in
Yeah,
big,
sorry,
but not in the cover, just here. So I'm going to grab those like so. Okay, I don't need to show import options because they're all JPEGs. So I don't want to do anything fancy with them at all.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And then I've got my placing cursor like so. If I wanted to put them in a different order, then I can use my arrow keys to cycle through all of the different bits of content here. And if you just, if you got the book just a second there, just on the cover, that bit there, okay, that's exactly how the cover was put together there. It was put together, all of these things were arranged because they're not arranged in order on the cover. I was trying to get the colours so they balanced out across the whole thing, and also so there were cats that weren't obscured by any text.
Yeah, because that would be sad.
Yeah, I know.
You don't want the cats.
Can't be doing that.
Don't want the cats obscured.
Yeah. So whenever you try and find cats, they're going to be on an edge in there. But anyway, there you go. In fact, there's a cat on the edge. Hi. Okay, so I'm just going to click through on each of these. Now, interestingly enough, what I didn't do with my frames, what I could have saved myself a whole load of pain with doing here, is I could have gone ahead and actually determined how the frames were going to be filled in the first place. But I could equally
But it's quite an easy fix, isn't it?
It is quite an easy fix to do. And in fact, I'm going to change my workspace here to Essentials Classic because I still think the control strip across the top here is a really, really useful thing to have. Okay, so I'm going to fill the frame proportionally. It's not going to be a problem there, okay, because they're square. So I could have chosen either of those really. Those like that, and center the content. Well, again, they're in exactly the right thing. Yeah. But now we've done all of that. Perfect. So we've got that. All I need to do, so on one side here it would say Daily Lightroom Edits. On the other side it would say, in fact, I'm going to group those and center them on the layout because it's just really driving me mad. There you go. Oh, I keep forgetting. It won't work like that in InDesign. Anyway, let's go ahead and come out of that.
Forgetting which one you're in.
Yeah. Do you ever do that though? Do you ever like... I know you spend a lot of time in Express, which makes things a whole lot easier. There we go.
Illustrator. Yeah.
Use the smart guides just there. Perfect. And also a good opportunity for me to save this and drop it. I think I'll drop it down on the desktop. DLE BW demo. Right, so demo. Because of that capital E, got to get rid of it. Sorry, can't deal with that. There we are. I love that when we're doing these streams, we'll find out how OCD all of us actually are. Really good ADHD and all of the other things that we are. Anyway, right, so that's good. So I'm not going to put the black in the background there. I think I'll just leave it as it is for the moment. Or shall I? No, I can't help myself. So I'm going to draw a shape just there like so. And then just, at the moment it's got a black stroke, no fill, so I'm just going to do Shift X to swap those over, to transpose those, and then Shift Command, that would be Shift Control, left bracket, to change that to the back, like so, to arrange it like that.
You've got like a little white margin at the bottom, did you want that?
Oh, no I didn't, Liz, thank you for spotting that.
No worries, just
I'm a better copywriter than I am an art worker.
Yeah, I'll be your art worker for the day. Tony, could you fix that please?
It's done now.
Yeah. Right, you can continue.
I'm so glad, so much. Okay, so I'm going to go to pages just here. I think I might only actually need one other page. So I'm just going to do Shift Command P. That would be Shift Control P to add a new page just there. And then I'm going to do a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to draw another shape. So I'm tapping M for the rectangle tool. Just coming out and connecting that to the bottom like so, and waiting for this. There you go. There goes the guide telling me it's in the middle. Again, Shift X to swap those two things around. And then just bring that in just a shade like so. I mean, purely mathematically beautiful now. I'm going to get my frame and I'm going to drop that across there like so, holding down Shift, so I've got a nice square just there. I'm not going to do all 20 pages, by the way, I'm just going to do like a core sample. So I've got a frame there waiting for content. That's all good. And then on the other side, I've got a text frame that's going to appear like so. There we are. I'm not going to worry too much about the size. I could, but let's go with Lato. Lato/Lato. Just there. If you're from the team that actually created this, let us know how it's pronounced. Did we get any feedback on that in the chat?
No, only one person said they say it like NATO. I think it was Oliver.
Lato, NATO. How do I say it normally? I've forgotten how I say it now.
No, I can't remember which one I said. Which one you said? I think you said Lato. Yeah, you said it like NATO, okay. And I said Lato. I think you're.
I said Lato. You said Lato.
Tim says,
potato.
See you later.
Yeah, see you later. Okay, I'm going to fill with placeholder text. Oh, wow, that's a bit more placeholder text than I was actually banking on.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to get rid of some of that. There we are. Okay, so for me, I don't know about you, but the first thing I pay attention to when I'm doing any document is the readable text, the body text.
Yeah.
And everything else is related to that body text. That's kind of the way it works for me. And, of course, I'm going to use a style for those things. I'm going to switch workspaces to typography because it makes sense given that I'm now doing a typography related task. Okay, and just create a new paragraph style just here. Typically I number these things, and body text is the root of everything here, so I might type like 1_ body main, for example, because also you might have instances of the body text that follow on from a heading, you know, so you've got like first different line ones, things, so what are those things?
You're very good at the naming conventions.
That's only because it makes it more efficient that way. Because
it makes sense.
If I invoke quick apply, in fact, let me just hit OK, just there right now. So this style isn't applied to that text at the moment. But if I used Quick Apply, which is Command on a Mac, Control on Windows, and hit return, I could type body, but that involves too many things to type. Whereas if I type one, it goes to the first available choice for that, and suddenly it's now using that particular style. And it's only through repetitively doing that for 20 odd years, more than 20 years.
You learn the tricks, don't you? That
you
make
do,
it
and the things.
shave that time off.
Yeah, because I mean, we all do this as a business, right? So we know that if we're efficient with our time, we're not wasting money.
Yeah.
And also, we've got more time to actually go through the thing at
And
the
then
end.
check it, yeah.
See, if I introduce sort of something to organise my time, a la what Bella was doing, just there, with stuff like this, I'm going to be unstoppable.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy. Anyway,
I'm excited to see what
see
happens.
new productive Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're already pretty productive.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, if you called me next week and said, turn the camera around to your left and show me your wall, it's still going to be covered in Post-it notes.
Yeah, no, mine, yeah. Well, I use Post-it notes on the wall as well.
I know.
Is that
so useful.
That's how I track
Do
my
you use them when you're
projects.
planning a document, a thing out? Do you use that?
No.
So I do when I'm authoring, when I'm working on, when I'm actually writing something.
Yeah, like you use it for the structure. That's
I
clever.
have, and if in my bag,
For planning,
I've got little pointer Post-it notes that I've
that's
got pointers
nice.
on, so I can add those on top of Post-it notes.
Nice. Oh, you're really a Post-it note aficionado.
I do love them.
Yeah.
I mean, I buy them in boxes that are about this big. So
okay.
yeah, I get through quite a lot. And they're recyclable, which is lovely. Anyway, right, I've gone with Lato Bold 16 point just here. I don't want to use the default leading here, so I think I'm going to go on 16 on 20.
I'm just going to interrupt because Tim's done some research. Apparently, lato means summer in Polish, so it would be lato, not lato, not lato. Oh, yes. Anyway, carry on, sorry. That was like...
Well done, you played a good game.
Okay, now that we've established the important facts, you may
Now I'm just going to
continue.
change that leading now to 21 or 22. Any advance on 22? No, we'll call it a
22.
deal. We'll call it a deal at that. Right. Also, this is bold. I don't want it to be bold. I'm going to choose something like regular. So my I use this as a basic structure. Right. So when I have something that starts off in regular, that means the next thing I do will move 2 steps on from there.
Nice.
Now, at the moment, we're seeing variants here for italic. And then medium. So medium would be the next weight step on from there. So I would skip that one.
And you'd go
entirely.
semi-bold.
I'll go straight to semi-bold
Yeah.
from there. And that's kind of the way I do it. Because
That's
there's
good,
enough
yeah.
differentiation in there.
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
make that
one
work.
step isn't enough, definitely.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I
Because
agree.
they can be, and especially if there's similarity in the weights, if you're using inline subheadings and there's a similarity, they can sort of blend into nothing. There's no colour to the text to use the type in its typographic sense. Just there. Anyway, that I think at the moment is just fine, although we'll add something else into that in a bit. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a heading at the top here, and to put in place of that, we're just going to call that heading like so. I don't need to select that because it's a paragraph level thing, so I'll go ahead and create a new paragraph style there. Paragraph style is going to be based on body main, which means it's going to inherit everything that body main has got at the moment. And so this one, I might call this one 1B, okay, or 1A. Oops, I'm typing 1A, and then underscore heading, like so. Although in reality, a heading would actually, for me, probably be 2, because a subheading or an inline subheading would be something like 1A from there. Or you might have 1A italic in a character style.
This
But anyway,
is where my brain starts to
then I'll leave it well alone. So you can survive this one. So we're going to go to semi-bold just there. Then, of course, I need an increase in weight. So 16 probably means this is going to jump to 22 from there. So it's sort of equivalent to the line spacing from before. Okay, and let's have a look. What I didn't do was enable apply the style to the selection. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm going just there. You can see there's a relationship. And I'm not going to do anything with the interlinear space there or the leading in between. Line spacing is a better way, I think, to express that. Not going to do anything to that particularly, but I am going to change the spacing. Okay, and I'm going to go for half of that size. So I'm going to put 11 points after that, like so. Okay, just arbitrarily for this one. It might not be exactly the way I do it, but there we are. Okay, so that bit's working just fine. I've got that text there. This is the text that I'm going to need changing. We're not going to have quite as much as that, though. I don't think my copywriter is going to write.
So this is going to be your blurb about the photo.
This is going to be part of the story.
Opposite page.
And also, eventually, some of the things there'll be. So I've been.
Oh, you've got your QR code.
I've got the QR code in for the video of the edit replay, and also Laura's been filming me while I've been photographing. So we've actually got footage
like
of me
behind the scenes.
Yeah,
fun.
BTS stuff, because that's really important to
Yeah.
show that it comes from actual places. And we've already got a decent blooper reel set up.
Oh,
So,
I can imagine.
so which is really good, including you know Tiggs, right? Tiggs Rice.
Yeah.
So when Tiggs was when we were all all working in the Czech, well, they were on holiday, her and James, but when Laura and I were working in the Czech Republic just a few months ago. There's footage on there of me actually crying in the middle of this square in Prague, laughing.
I was going to say, I'm glad it's cry
absolutely tinkling with laughter. Right, there's another thing I want to do here. Now, this doesn't carry through to Express at the moment, right? But let me just zoom in on this text just to make it easier to say. I'm just going to drop some stuff in here. So, of course, the subject would be daily Lightroom edits. Okay, so let's just say this is saying something about Lightroom. Lightroom.
This is why you're getting a copyright.
and of course, so it might say something daily Lightroom edits, la la la.
Yeah.
And then later on in the text, it might also say, and in arbitrarily daily Lightroom edits, and so on. I might want that highlighted in a separate way, and I'm not going to do that and highlight it, right? So I'm going to create a character style for that, but actually I'm going to do it inside of this paragraph style itself. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose the style options for this paragraph style. And then I'm going to come down here to grep styles.
Oh my goodness, you're going into grep. Cardi did this at Adobe Max. It was really cool to see.
She did.
Yeah.
She did. So I'm going to say apply the style none. So I'm actually going to create a new character style here right now, which I'm going to call 2 or at 1C, whatever, and then bolden, like so. Okay, it's not going to be based on anything. It's not going to have any of those things. Oh, by the way, people who try and type shortcuts in here, you need a numpad for it to recognise those shortcuts. That's a question I get asked a lot.
Okay.
I've tried typing a shortcut and it's not working. It's because you've got to have that numpad, because those shortcuts only work from there. And a tooltip that spelt that out wouldn't actually be a bad idea on there. Just throwing that out there. Basic character formats. I may change my mind on Lato later on. Right, I may well go like, well, I don't love that anymore. I want it to be something
now
else.
that it's called something different.
Now it's got a name that I didn't think of. It's going to be that. But all I'm going to do is say, whatever it is, provided there's a variant that's bold, I want you to override it with bold. As simple as that. Okay, so if I just do that, and then to the text, I'm just going to type daily Lightroom edits in here like so. Okay, it's going to deal with that as a string. Now, there's a whole bunch of, you can go down a real wormhole with this. So Clardy's, for example, had pipe characters in them, which would evaluate the word Clardy, Clardy's, and I can't remember what the other one was, but there were 3 potential ways her name might be typed. And hers had that in there. Okay, so there you go, and straight away I've got that done for me.
And it would do that throughout the whole document, right?
Throughout the whole, throughout wherever that paragraph style is in use. And it makes, given that, typically I wouldn't have it in bold like this. I'd actually have it italicised in there.
Because you're a good copywriter.
Because allegedly I'm a good copywriter. Anyway, so let's go ahead and duplicate this spread a couple of times here. So I'm just going to duplicate this spread like so. We'll just do that, that's fine. Go away, blue bubble. And then we'll just drop a couple of images into each one of these. So let's go for this one. I'm keeping an eye on the time now, which is really good also. And then we want to go into this because this is where the big ones go in here. So we'll just choose, say stop when you want me to choose.
Stop.
There.
Yeah, nice.
Veronica Raffa in there. Ooh, interesting. That's in Poland. That's in Gdansk.
Nice.
Where I was in March this year. Okay, so, and this one, we'll do the same thing again. You say stop when we're ready. Okay, so.
Stop.
Just here,
Yeah.
Delhi? Okay, good. Right, so we'll go with that one. And again, we'll get that to fill that frame like so. Brilliant. So we'll do that, and then we'll save this, of course, because that's a really sensible idea. And I'd carry on doing that throughout the whole thing. One of the ways, just because I've got the time to expand on it just for a moment, one of the ways I would actually do this, and the way I do actually do it, is I actually put all of this stuff, the images and everything, into a spreadsheet. So I don't do the cover or anything to start off with. I have the whole thing ready for a data merge. And also the captions I add on at the same time. So the captions, in fact, I can do that here. These ones I don't think have got a caption that's carried through, but we'll try it anyway because it's worth it for a look, given that we've got the time. Okay, so I might, for example, go in and decide to create captions just here. So if I go into, I think it's in, there we are, captions setup. So any text I want before, what's going to come from the metadata, just here, that's fine. And any text that's going to come afterwards, where's it going to go? What paragraph style is it going to use? Well, it hasn't got one just yet. So I'm just going to call this caption, like so, like that. Important thing here, given that where it's going to be used, is to change the character color here to white. Let's basic character formats. It's another opportunity to use Lato, but this time we're going to use it in an italic variant, I think. But it have to be semi-bold italic because it's going to reverse out of black, which is always worth a look at. And I just want to see actually if the captions follow through to Express. So the offset down here, I'm just going to make that something like 10, 11 pixels, something like that. Let's go 10. Just for that. Everything else there is just fine. So that's it set up. What I could then do is grab this frame here, come down to captions, and then choose to generate the captions. Oh, sure, I'm in the right place. There we go. Generate live caption. And actually, there you go. It's got the file name just there, so it's there. And so you can pull all sorts of metadata out there.
Right,
and I could repeat that.
And people can see it.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, nice.
There we go. I could zoom on that. Yes, good suggestion. There it is, just there. So they can see all of that good stuff. I won't bother doing it with the second one because you've seen how it works. But all of that stuff comes in, and I have the YouTube links in the same place, and I actually have that set up as a data merge where the QR code is generated by InDesign on the data merge. And then it just repeats all of the pages I need.
Yeah.
And then I just wrap it with the cover and everything.
Because you're
else.
making the QR codes in InDesign, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
you taught me that. I didn't even know that was a
handy.
thing. Yeah, that is handy.
What it could do though, like really could do with, is that you can do beautiful QR codes in Express. Really lovely. You can use all of the different
you
available
can
formats.
customize them all. Yeah. So we need that over in
I learned all about the construction of QR codes about 6 weeks ago. 6-7 weeks ago. It's
I bet you
crazy.
loved
I
that.
can tell you stuff about QRs.
I bet you can.
You can actually, once you get used to it, you can actually read them.
That's crazy.
Which is insane.
Yeah, that is
Provided
insane.
you speak binary.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, right, so now we've got all of that stuff. That's good. I'm going to save that. Now comes the bit where we've got to rely on the internets. So here's this new option that you showed earlier on so elegantly, export to Adobe Express. If it's in your version of InDesign, you haven't used it yet, you'll be able to identify it really quickly because it'll have a little blue dot. So it's saying, I'm new.
Yeah.
Click me.
Yeah, mine has a new dot.
Yeah, so it's going to upload it like so. And then it'll be ready. So it has to do a bunch of different things.
Yeah,
the only thing it will
do,
it will read it all. Now, if you've got paragraphs, I didn't put any spacing into the paragraphs. I put no space after particularly in there. I did for the heading, but it will actually isolate. The only thing here is that at the moment it won't understand threading between frames, so they will be separate frames. But all I want is the copy.
Will be broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then people can go in and adjust them.
Yeah.
And relink them, because you've now got linking boxes in
Yeah.
Adobe Express.
Oh, right. Well, it's interesting then it hasn't carried forward
Yeah.
to there. But
Hopefully that'll be on the horizon.
there we are. So we've got that page just there. We should have the next page. No arrow, or I can't see that arrow.
Oh, so it's brought it in as a presentation. So if you look down at the bottom, you'll see the next pages.
There we go. It has.
You can.
That probably
close
makes sense because of the web
green
format.
Box will help you.
Yeah, go away, green box. But there we are. So
Yeah,
now
and
it's
so
handed
now
off.
people can edit it.
Yeah.
So then
I
you
can
just share it. Get your copywriter to fill it in.
Yeah,
Job
and
done.
done. I've got to tell you that the other week, it was before Max, I was training a company in Express. I wanted to know all about Express. And just before the training started, they said, oh, by the way, we were at this big boardroom table, and they said, the people that are going to be sat next to you, they're all users of another product. So they're going to be watching this really, really closely. And at first they kept saying, yeah, that does that, that does that, that does that. But when I came to the scheduler and they were generating captions, one of them stood up and went, oh, I want this instead, which was really,
That's
really bad.
cool,
And then they were invested in everything else that I was doing. Oh, actually, that's really good. So crazy,
that's
isn't
interesting.
it?
Yeah.
But
The scheduler is so good. I'm like really enjoying the prompts in there, like more than I should be. I'm like, oh, this is a good idea.
well, I mean, for a copywriter like me, then. But no, I mean, sometimes, and I think we all get this, right? Where we're looking at something and just like the vastness of a blank space is really
overwhelming.
hard.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you've got something that's going to describe something for you and get you started, that's a
it's really
really
helpful.
good, useful tool. And just because I know I need to hand over for you because we've only got a couple of minutes. I know that. Two things. Firstly, I spoke at Harvard School of Continuing Medicine on Adobe Express.
Nice.
Yeah, which was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And you might think, why are you doing that at a school of medicine? That's because American doctors have to market themselves.
Yeah.
Which is
that's such a good point.
which is a good point.
Yeah.
And the other thing, the one thing that I think any parent in this country should be using Adobe Express, because how many times do you get stuff from your school that sends you out a PDF
Oh yeah.
to fill in? And some people don't have printers. It's not like they can print it out. And even if they've got a printer, they may not have a scanner to scan it
I
back
remember
in.
us chatting about that use case, and it is so helpful.
Yeah.
Like you can just, because if you don't have like Acrobat or whatever, you can just bring it into Adobe Express. It's free. You just fill it in. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
And that's it.
Good,
There you
good tip to end on. Amazing. Thank you so much, Tony. That was awesome. People in the chat really loved the like InDesign. Well, I was going to say InDesign nerdiness, but like going into InDesign because it probably doesn't get enough exposure. So yeah, thank you so much. And we will be back shortly with another live stream with Chris, and it's going to be photography themed. He was running me through what he's going to be going through, and it's going to be really fun. And I will be back hosting him. So we'll see you shortly. Thank you so much for joining us.